Before the Bravos is back high above Doran Park as we preview the second-to-last home game of the season. Can you believe that, Nick?
No.
The Bourne Brave and the Wareham Gatemen doing it for the second time in as many nights here at Doran Park. Nick, how are you? How you doing?
Doing great. How are you?
Good.
Hey, we got to start off right.
Yep.
Second-to-last regular season game. We're running out of these, so we
got
to
to
get them in. We got to get them in.
I also want to start off by giving a special shout-out. Nana Lampy is who I want to shout out. Joe Lampy's grandmother, who is a big fan of the program, a big fan of our work here. Joe Lampy's grandmother at home watches us every game. Big fan of the Braves, big fan of the broadcast. Got to give Nana Lampy a shout-out before tonight's broadcast. Thank you for the support all season.
Thank you.
And we've loved having Joe on the team, obviously. He's been a great hitter in this Braves lineup.
He's been great, as you mentioned. We love the support. Really appreciate it. Hope we're making you proud, honestly. I know. We have our slip-ups every now and then. Mostly me.
Yeah.
But, what do you mean, yeah? All right, but
you said it, not me.
Great to have the support, no doubt about it.
Appreciate it.
Big shout-out.
Absolutely appreciate it. And the Braves trying to get back in the win column after another win against Wareham last night. The Bravos go for the 5-game season sweep of the Wareham Gatemen, which is crazy. I don't know the last time. This is the only team the Braves had the opportunity to do that against. Beat a team in every single one of their matchups, a West Division opponent in every single one of their matchups this year.
It's absurd when you think about it.
Yeah.
And they've had some close games, too.
Yep.
Especially at Spillane Field, games that have just kind of been, I don't want to say duds, but just pitching duels for the majority of the game. And then one run, as we saw in that one game, was a deciding run. And, a 1-0 win for the Braves in Wareham. And then that 4-0 game, obviously. Earlier in the season, that 6-5 game.
Yeah.
Last night was
5-4.
I mean, they've been all close games when to think about it. So the fact that Bourne's been able to come out on top in all of those games, you'd expect a close game like that, Wareham would at least take one, but they just haven't been able to. So.
How about this, Nick? In 4 matchups, the run differential has been 7, and the Braves have won all 4 games.
I mean, that's
3 one-run games in those wins, and the Braves turn around and have the chance to go 5 for 5 against Wareham tonight. Let's talk about the game last night, because it was a game that the Braves, for most of the night, didn't look like we're going to win. The Bravos fell down 3-1 in the first inning, 4-1 after the second inning, and had to battle back late in the game again.
Yeah, I mean, this was just, I don't want to say it, but it was a typical Bourne Braves game. It felt like, you score 1 run in the first inning. You had a couple hits in the first inning. Middle portion of the game, you were held in check.
Yep.
And then you come out in the 7th and 8th, and you just explode out of nowhere, kind of. Joe Lampy gets hit with the bases loaded to bring across a winning run, and that was it. Eric Adler comes in for the 4-out save. Shout out to Kelsey Ward for really kind of bearing things down through 2/3 of an inning. After getting roughed up in Orleans, I thought he bounced back nicely, did his job for Eric Adler. Rest is history, 4-0 against the Wareham Gatemen on the season.
Absolutely, and Cole Chudoba in the middle of that Braves game. After Michael Sansone only went 3 innings, giving up 4 runs, he's been so good all season. You figured one of his games he wouldn't be himself. That was last night. But Cole Chudoba came in as the first guy out of the pen and really, really settled things down. 4 innings, no runs, just 2 hits. Struck out a pair as well. He was great. One of the major reasons why the Braves won last night.
I'd say he might be the major reason because you're down 4-1. With the way that game went, you really can't afford to give up any more runs. He did just that, and it's not easy to pitch when you're down, especially when you know your offense isn't really clicking. And he did a great, great job. Held this team in this game, and they were able to mount the comeback. Without Cole Chudoba's performance, I don't think Bourne's offense is able to mount that comeback because if Chudoba gives up even 1 run, I think that's demoralizing. So that was an unbelievable performance by him. He's stunned me all year. I mean, this kid has been fantastic, and you like to see it too, a little bit of local talent. He's out at Assumption going to UConn, so staying in New England. So I know UConn is very excited to have him. Every tweet I put out that says Cole Chudoba, UConn is on it before the tweet has been posted. So they're excited to have him, and they should be because he's had a great season out on the Cape.
Wareham is warming up in right field. The Braves lineup is being denounced because it is host family appreciation night here at Doran Park, the second-to-last regular season game here in Bourne this year. So there's going to be a little ceremony on the field, commemorating the efforts of the host families who do a great job. They are
unbelievable, especially this season of all years.
People around the Braves say, without the host families, there'd be no Cape League at all.
No,
there'd be no league. They do a great job providing a home for these players from around the country as they come to the Cape and play summer ball here for the Bravos and here for teams around the Cape Cod area. So that's what's going on tonight. Let's get into the Braves lineup a little bit. We can do our normal one back and forth action. It starts off with Christian Knapczyk, and you mentioned the Braves lineup was held in check last time until Christian Knapczyk hit a triple.
That deserves one. There it is. That's two for today. We got to keep it. We should have kept a tally.
Well, we should have a running tally.
We should have had a graphic right here. If Megan's listening, we should have had a graphic right here. For the last one, we should try and get this. Graphic right here, how many handshakes me and Calvin do.
Well, you're asking. Nice. I think you're asking for a lot.
That's asking a ton. I know it is. It might be too much, but that'd be cool. I'll even write on a piece of paper. Hold it up. I don't even care.
All right, we're at two handshakes.
We're at two.
But Christian Knapczyk led off that 7th inning with a triple. That was the inning where the Braves would score 3 runs and tie the game at 4. He was in the 6th spot tonight, a position the Braves really think of as their second leadoff spot. 2 mini lineups, 1 to 5, 6 through 9, 2 kind of sort of mini lineups of 5 and a 4. Split that order in half to have 2 leadoff hitters in it. You've been seeing Joe Lampy, who's out of the lineup tonight in that one spot. Christian Knapczyk, who was here before he left for a couple of days in that leadoff spot, back there tonight.
You know, that triple last night, Harvey Shapiro, I don't know if he was too happy Christian Knapczyk ended up on third. I mean, you know, if there was a good throw there, might have had Knapczyk, and then I don't even know what Coach Shapiro would have done there. But nevertheless, he made it in a third and ended up being a crucial hit in that game without a doubt. Came across on a wild pitch, and Dalton Rushing hit like a 200-mile-per-hour, line drive in the left, scored Zach Agnos, and then that's when they really started to click. So Knapczyk's been great at the top of the order before he went on vacation, came back. Struggled a little bit the other night last time we were at Bourne, but I think he's going to get back into his groove.
Absolutely, and it's a different-looking lineup tonight because Christian
really
bats one. No Max Anderson. When was the last time he had a night off? I can't remember.
I think like 2016, honestly. I mean, that's what it feels like. So it's been 5 years now. It's been crazy. But
that's that. There you
go.
All
right, that's 3.
There we go.
That's 3. If there was a tally counter here, we have 3.
He deserved one for that. That was a good one. But
thank you.
No, realistically, I don't remember the last time he's had a day off in Bourne. Do you?
Yeah, no, I don't.
But he has the night off tonight. So Tanner Schobel, who's been red hot, snapped his 7-game hitting streak last night. Couldn't get to 8, but Harvey Shapiro moves him up from 4 to 2. So Christian Knapczyk, Tanner Schobel, the 1-2 punch. What do you think about that?
I like that 1-2 punch. I like Schobel in the 2 spot a little bit more than cleanup, I think. How do you feel about that?
I like it
a lot
because early in the season it was Joe Lampy 1, Christian Knapczyk 2. I really like Christian Knapczyk, Tanner Schobel 1-2.
I like it a lot. And I mean, I know Schobel has pop.
Yep.
Like, he can be a 4-hitter. We saw that the other night. He was good in the cleanup spot. Last night he was over, but the other night when he was first in the cleanup spot, great night, And he has pop. He puts the ball out every now and then, so he can do cleanup. But I like him in the 2 spot more, a lot more, I think.
Do you? Yeah. Another thing it does, it kind of extends the lineup a little bit.
It does.
Because we're not having Max Anderson in the lineup tonight, but he can hit third.
I was just going to
say.
Do
you like Christian Knapczyk, Tanner Schobel, Max Anderson 1, 2, 3?
I'd love that 1, 2, 3 rushing 4.
Yep.
I think.
Huber 5?
Yeah. That's good. That's 4. I really like rushing in the 3 hole, but why would you not have him clean up here? Leads a team in home runs.
Yep.
Leads a team in RBI. I say put him clean up. Huber, he's had 1 game, very short body of work that we've seen from him, but from what we saw last night, definitely capable of hitting in the thick of the order. So I like him in the 5 spot too. And then order's extended. Colby Thomas batting 6th.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah, so no Joe Lampy in the lineup tonight. That's one of the reasons why we're seeing Knapczyk, Schobel 1-2, and no Max Anderson is another reason why. So Christian Knapczyk, Tanner Schobel, Dalton Rushing hitting third tonight, playing in, how about this, Nick? Right field.
I trust
Dalton Rushing.
He's the next Willie Mays.
In right field. We saw him in the outfield last night for the first time this season. He got 1 singular inning in left field, but is in right field for the entire game tonight.
Yeah, I talked with Quinn Stebbins before the game, assistant coach.
First base coach?
Yes, greatest first base coach in the league. And I was like, did Dalton play any outfield in college at Louisville? And Quinn said no. So this is unique. I mean, I'm interested to see this. Did he get a ball in left? I don't think he did.
He
one on the
fielded
ground,
a ball,
right?
yes.
Yeah, one on the ground.
So it's a single in the left field.
No fly balls or anything.
Nope.
So I'm interested to see how he is in right field tonight. I think that's a storyline that everyone's kind of interested to see, you know?
Well, I get a side story, quick one. You know, going back, I compare things to my playing days.
Of course.
I played, catcher, first base growing up, and when I got out of high school, I played in a league going into my freshman year of college. There was a bunch of guys that were, just there to have fun. So the coach handed the lineup card to one of the kids. He goes, okay, you make the lineup. And no one knows anybody.
Yeah.
So the kid points at me, and he goes, what position do you play? I go, catcher, first base. Like, you're playing right field tonight.
What? Why?
I don't know, but that's what happened. So that to me kind of feels, I'm kind of comparing that. Dalton Rushing, who plays catcher, first base.
It's crazy. That kid grew up to be Alex Cora, and now he's managing the Red Sox. So it's fantastic.
No, that guy, his name is Colin Coyne. Shout out Colin if you're listening. I know you're not, but Colin Coyne played his college baseball at Bates College.
Okay.
Good friend of mine who is made the lineup card that night. We weren't good friends at the time. But over that course of that season, obviously, we became friends.
Yeah, no, wow, all right.
Yeah.
So how'd you do?
I think I had one fly ball. Luckily, it was, right at me.
Routine, can
and I didn't play in college.
Uh-huh.
And I had, a Division II center fielder playing with me.
Yeah.
So everything to my right, it's all you. And then foul balls, no need to change those.
That center fielder actually grew up to go on and transferred to Arizona State. It was Joe Lampy.
Also, not Joe Lampy.
Yeah, no.
Guy by the name of Titus K-Thong.
Dude, he's got to be in the league someday.
Division II.
Oh, my God. That's a great name.
It's a great name, Titus. I know you're not listening, but if you are. All right, so. We'll move on.
Yeah,
we'll move on. Dalton Rushing in right field.
About to go through the whole roster of his team.
Dalton Rushing playing in right field tonight. That is a very interesting move. We'll see how that plays out, and maybe he can get the Braves some flexibility in the lineup if he can handle himself out there for the postseason.
No doubt, and flexibility for his own career, too. I mean, scouts love to see that.
Yeah. So Rushing in right, we saw him play left. Tanner Schobel hitting in front of him, hitting second. Behind him is Colby Thomas, who's playing in center field tonight, once again, with no Joe Lampy.
When did we see Colby clean up last? Was it the Orleans game? Was he clean up in the Orleans game?
I believe so. It was sometime early last week.
I believe. I think he was clean up in that game. If he's not, just pretend I didn't say this, but in that Orleans game, I mean, absolute bomb.
Oh, my gosh.
Over the scoreboard there. And obviously short porch and left, but
it was. We don't know if it was the furthest. I said this a couple times. We don't know if it was the furthest hit Braves home run of the season, but it was the furthest over the fence. Yes.
Nice. That's 5, baby. Got a whole hand's worth of them. So, that was just an absolute bomb. So Colby Thomas, more than capable of hitting cleanup, and it's a guy that he had one at bat last night, pinch hit situation. So can't really 0 for 1 last night, but. It's a guy who's been looking a little bit better at the plate. The power numbers have come. Was it last week where he just had that insane RBI surge? Or was that a week and a half ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But just 10 RBIs in 1 week, 6 RBI performance against Hyannis. It was amazing.
Yeah.
I think we kind of overlooked it. 6 RBIs against Hyannis. It's crazy.
All 6 in the game, by the way.
Yeah. So he literally beat the Harbor Hawks. It's as simple as that. And, just outstanding performances lately from him. Still pops the ball up sometimes, but for the most part, he's been looking really good.
Absolutely. So he's in the 5 spot tonight. Excuse me, I missed Ben Huber. So he's not hitting cleanup. He's hitting 5th.
Oh, all right, okay.
Ben Huber is hitting 5th tonight. The guy we saw make his debut for the Bravos last night.
Cleaning up, right?
He's cleaning up, yeah. So just so you're not confused here, we got Christian Knapchick leading off at short. Tanner Schobel batting second at second. Dalton Rushing in right field hitting 3rd. Ben Huber DHing tonight.
Yes.
Hitting 4th. Couple of RBIs last night, couple of big RBIs in a 2 for 5 debut performance for the Bravos. Hit 3rd last night, hitting 4th tonight.
I mean, welcome to Bourne, honestly.
Absolutely.
Last night, first RBI of the game, and then the go-ahead, or not the tying RBI, excuse me. In the, what was that, the 7th, right? 7th, yeah. So tying RBI in the 7th was a huge hit. Came up in a big situation. He came through. He had a great game last night in his debut. You might as well just build off that.
Yeah.
We haven't seen guys be able to come into Bourne usually in their first game, make a huge impact. He did.
Yeah.
So I'm really intrigued by that.
Eye-popping numbers at Limestone University, Division II in South Carolina, and also tore up his summer ball league. I believe he was playing up in the Great Lakes League.
Okay.
Before coming to Bourne, an all-star.
Do you know what team
in that league this summer? I don't, but I believe that was the league he was in before this, and was an all-star in that league. So he's hitting 4th. We talked about Colby Thomas hitting 5th. Nick Goodwin is hitting 6th in left field, a very different outfield tonight with 2 guys with not much experience in the corners, but Nick Goodwin back in the lineup, hitting 6th, playing left.
Yeah, this outfield's going to be very interesting tonight, as you had mentioned. Nick Goodwin, a guy who, with him, it's either he goes 3 for 4 with 3 hits, I feel like, or he just has a tough night.
Yeah.
There's really no in between there.
It's all or nothing. It's boom or bust.
It's multi-hit night or nothing, really.
Yeah.
And again, we've mentioned it before. That just comes back to his development, I think, and still, wicked young kid. I think a lot of people forget that. So
we're going to take a pause here for the national anthem. We'll round out the Braves order, and we'll give you our picks to pop on the other side. Don't go anywhere. You're watching and listening to Before the Bravos. How about that? A great national anthem here at Doran Park.
Oh my God, that
before
was
the
10
Bravos
times better
and
than
the
I could
Gatemen.
ever do.
Absolutely,
Oh,
what
that
a
was
performance! Great. We're rounding out this Braves order. We'll do it real quick here. I'll start at the top, get you caught up, and we'll head through the bottom. Christian Knapczyk leads off at short. Tanner Schobel hitting second, playing second. Dalton Rushing making his debut in right field tonight. Ben Huber, the DH, is hitting cleanup. Colby Thomas in center field hits fifth. Nick Goodman, the left fielder, hits sixth. Josh Moylan is at first base tonight hitting seventh. His college teammate Zach Agnos hits eighth at third base. And then John Garcia rounds out the Bravos order doing the catching tonight, hitting ninth.
Josh Moylan, I want to see him stay hot. I want to see an Agnos bomb tonight. He pumps him to left. We've seen that numerous times. And then I want to see a couple hits from John Garcia tonight. Need some production from the catcher position offensively.
I completely agree with you. So we'll see what happens when the Bravos take on the Gatemen in just a couple of minutes. But before they do, Nick, I'm going to need your pick to pop.
I'm going to stick with my guy. Back-to-back nights, I'm going Huber.
I'm going Joe Lampy. He's not in the lineup tonight, so I can't do that. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? Here's the thing. You know how you're never prepared for your pick to pop?
Yeah.
I was prepared 2 hours before game time.
Yeah.
And I wrote Joe Lampy down. You ever seen draft day? When it's like,
yeah.
whoever it is, no matter what. I wrote down a sticky note, Joe Lampy, no matter what.
Okay.
Because I loved his BP today. He put one out here at
Yes.
Doran Park in batting practice.
Well, I have the video. He said, I'm gonna put one out.
So I wrote down on my sticky note, Joe Lampy, no matter what. And now he's not in the lineup tonight, so I got to completely readjust. I was so ready and so confident to put that exclamation point on.
Well, I know he'd appreciate that. So
yeah, all right. So
sorry,
Joe.
We'll run him the tape back. We'll show it. Yeah.
Well, so now I got to readjust, and I'm going with Tanner Schobel. I want to see what he does in the 2 spot. Broke his 7-game hitting streak last night. Like to see him get back to form tonight against Wareham. Reeves and Daniel have the call from a high above Doran Park in just a couple of minutes. It's the Bourne Braves and the Wareham Gatemen for the 5th and final time this year. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Hello and welcome to the second part of this home and home series as the Wareham Gatemen have arrived at Bourne Park. I am back.
Hey, thank goodness. I'm just kidding, Calvin.
Calvin did a great job. I had some family affairs, but again, we have a great matchup here tonight against the Wareham Gatemen. The final time we're going to see him, and Jake Bennett is going to be the starting pitcher to start things off here tonight.
Yeah, I think we talked about it pregame, and we talked about it obviously a lot on the broadcast the last time Jake was on the mound, but that outing was, it wasn't as advertised as far as the box score advertised. Jake Bennett was actually really, really good in that game. Obviously, went 5 innings in that game, 5 hits, 3 runs, the 3-run homer to Tyler Locklear, but we talked about how 2 infield singles kind of mishappened for Jake Bennett, obviously, and Locklear sent that ball out of the park. That was just a day in which it wasn't the Braves' day from a pitching perspective. So Jake, who gets the ball again, his final tune-up before playoff start, and I'm looking forward to see what he can do against a Wareham team.
Well, it should be really good, and if last night's game was any indication of what we're going to get here tonight at Bourne Park, we're in for quite a treat in a 5-4 thriller last night where we saw a couple new faces up at the plate.
Yeah, Ben Huber, obviously Hunter Jump, got to see a little more of him, and even Lucas Costello was in the lineup, so 3 new faces in the lineup. It was Huber's first game for the Braves. He was inserted into the 3 spot, had a big single in the first inning, didn't get credited for the RBI. It was an E9 and right that ended up scoring Lampy, but got the base hit, and then later did get his RBI with an RBI single to right in the 7th. It tied the game. Braves later took the lead on a Joe Lampy hit by pitch with 2 outs. Eric Adler successfully this time, his first 4-out save of the season, and the Braves with a big come-from-behind win.
The second half of the home and home series in the latter half of the season. First coming is Trace Gonzalez, the center fielder. For the Wareham Gatemen, Jake Bennett back on the mound. The last time we saw him, as Reeve said, was about a week ago at Eldridge Park. First pitch strike from Jake Bennett, who going into the playoffs is going to have to really be one of the starting pitchers, starting rotation. Most specifically, he is going to be a big part of that ride.
No, absolutely. Obviously, you're going to have Austin Parsley, who we expect to anchor that rotation come playoff time. And I think maybe this is really a tryout for Jake Bennett to see if maybe he could get the 2 spot in the rotation. Obviously, Michael Sansone kind of had that on lock, but with a little bit of a shaky performance, he ended up bouncing back well, gave up those 2 home runs in the first inning to both Jim Jarvis and to Jack Brannigan. Brannigan moves down on the order with Diodati back in the lineup hitting 4th tonight. But obviously for Jake Bennett, Daniel, if he can pitch as well as he has been all season long, then there's maybe a chance that you could see Jake Bennett in a potential game, or in a game 2, and then Michael Sansone in a potential game 3. And if you hopefully sweep the series, then you could start Sansone in a potential championship round. So it should be interesting to see how the Braves want to line up with that.
Slow chopper to Gonzalez. Here comes Schobel trying to barehand it. He loses the handle, and just like that, an infield single. Bennett was ahead 1-2, but Gonzalez now on first. The Wareham Gatemen have a man down the right field line.
Yeah, Tres Gonzalez now with that single, now second in the CCBL in batting average. Moves up from the 342 clip he came in with, which passes Clark Elliott of Hyannis, only behind Prez Kavanaugh of Harwich. So big things from the Georgia Tech outfielder. As we saw Jim Jarvis a night ago in the first inning, absolutely take one far over the right field wall at Spillane.
That's a very Jake Bennett-esque type of hit that we saw against Orleans. As that's first pitch swinging from Jim Jarvis, the shortstop, Trace Gonzalez on first. But those types of hits are what really caused that bad day at Orleans. Just an unfortunate play over at right. Tanner Schobel at second base. Christian Knapczyk at short. Showing bunt, they got it down right over to Moylan. He can't get him on the tag, and he's going to be safe.
Yeah, just a hard bunt there to Moylan. Obviously hard for Bennett or Schobel to cover the bag, obviously, with how hard it was bunted, and it was bunted far enough away from the first base line. You can have some argument that Jarvis ran out of the baseline, but you still get 10 feet either side to establish your path on the baseline to go in or out. So I believe that Jarvis stayed in the confines of that, and it goes as a single, even more of a Jake Bennett single against him with his luck lately.
Showing bunt again, pulling back. Tommy Troy, the second baseman for the Gatemen, steps in. Men on first and second. Two very Jake Bennett-esque types of hits to allow to this Gatemen team in their Road Maroons. The 0-1. Now 1-1. Jake Bennett's throwing strikes. The Gatemen have just been knocking it around the infield.
Yeah, last night Tommy Troy for Wareham 1 for 4, had a run scored. That was obviously in the first inning on the Jack Brannigan 2-run homer after Troy singled to left.
1-1 just outside. Troy thought about it. There's a lot of action and a lot of scenarios being thrown around in this press box just before the game. One thing that we have to keep an eye on is the Cotuit Kettleers and the Falmouth Commodores, and it looks like the Kettleers have that one fairly well wrapped up. I believe it was 8-0 the last time we checked.
Yeah, now 10-2 in the fifth, so still an 8-run game. So obviously, if Cotuit wins this game, their magic number goes from 7 to 3, which is huge. They would wrap up the number 2 spot with a win tomorrow and a Falmouth loss, or if Falmouth wins and Cotuit wins, then Cotuit would just need to either win or have a Falmouth loss to get in.
Both men going on the 2-2, and that breaking ball is going to catch Tommy Troy out number 1, but both Gatemen improve to scoring positions.
And Jake Bennett wasn't paying much attention to both the speedy Tres Gonzalez and Jim Jarvis, and you got to change up your looks and change up your timing. They stole that all on Jake Bennett right there. You look at the stolen base numbers for this Gatemen team. As Tres Gonzalez picks up his 8, Jim Jarvis also, Jim Jarvis was looking at Tommy Troy. Jim Jarvis getting his 8th as well, so now both one off the lead of Tommy Troy with 9. A Wareham team that runs a lot and is successful on the base paths.
Good snag by Garcia. This is Owen Diodati, the ever-dangerous batter. And with only 1 out in the top of the first with men on second and third, this is not the guy that you want up if you're the Braves.
Yeah, Diodati wasn't initially in the lineup yesterday. He ended up pinch hitting and coming in for Cade Kern in the 5th inning.
A big swing and a miss.
And Diodati, after he came in, he grounded out to the pitcher in his first plate appearance. As on the day yesterday, Diodati was 0 for 2, ended up getting out in his last at-bat of the night. 2 of the primary and premier hitters on this team pinch hitting in the 9th spot last night. Rushing and Diodati for each respective side. But if you're Jake Bennett here, obviously, Daniel, you trade the run for an out. Just try to get something, a ground ball in the infield, fly ball in the outfield, get the out, you trade the run. Obviously, you would love a strikeout. That's the best scenario of them all. But here, 2-1 against one of the league's best hitters. Take the out, trade the run. Braves offense will get up in the bottom half.
2-1, now 2-2. A good fastball. Leading the way at third is Tres Gonzalez. He got on with an infield single over to the right side. Jim Jarvis with a brilliantly placed bunt down the first base line. They have improved both with stolen bases to second and third. 2-2 to Diodati. Now a full count and a payoff pitch on the way. Jack Brannigan as the designated hitter on deck.
Yeah, obviously it appears we're talking about the standings. Falmouth is going to lose tonight. If somehow Cotuit loses the next 2, Falmouth wins the next 2, well then the last game of the season on Wednesday becomes ever so important. Becomes one of the most important games of that year in which the Braves could find themselves directly in the crosshairs facing the Falmouth Commodores on Wednesday in the last game, in which Falmouth would need to win to get in. Because even when these two teams are at the same games played, the way Cotuit's winning percentage is 1/10 of a percentage point higher. How about that?
That 3-2 sprayed foul. Diodati stays alive. There's so many different scenarios and situations that you can throw around. What it really comes down to is that this might be the last time we see the Gatemen.
Absolutely. One loss eliminates them. Calvin Cristoforo will tell you a little bit more about that here later on in this game when we shoot it down to him in a few innings. But Calvin will go through all the rundowns and all the scenarios with you guys to explain what has already happened, what needs to happen, what could happen for the second seed to get into the Western Division, even out there in the East, what's going on over there.
3-2, swing and a miss. And what we needed to happen was to get rid of Owen Diodati, and that is what Jake Bennett has just done. 2 men still in scoring position with the 5-spot hitter Jack Brannigan to the plate. 2 outs, 0-0 in the top of the first.
Yeah, great change up there to the lefty Diodati. Started away and it bit back in, and just Diodati swinging over the top of it. Now Jack Brannigan, a guy who did damage in the first inning a night ago, had that 2-run homer to left into the second row of the bleachers behind the left field wall.
Fouled by Brannigan.
Yeah, it was Brannigan's first home run of the season last night. So he was happy to get the power numbers on the board. Is hitting .284 on the season. Good average for Brannigan. 6 RBIs, 11 walks. He struck out 18 times.
Fastball just getting underneath Garcia. Behind the plate tonight, taking over for Peter Burns and Dalton Rushing, who we are seeing in right field.
Yeah, we saw Dalton for an inning last night in left. He pinch hit for Lucas Costello. Mentioned that at the just a little bit ago. Rushing, who pinch hit in the 7th inning, came through with that big RBI single to left field to make it a 1-run game. Came in for an inning in left field before catching the final 2 frames.
2-1. Bennett really switching it up with the locations.
But I think that does a lot of good things for your offense. It really extends the offense because you can have a guy like Rushing go out and play the outfield, put a guy like Josh Moylan at first. You can even do Max Anderson at first, have Agnos over at third, and you can catch one of your more prototypical defensive catchers in Peter Burns or John Garcia.
2-2, a brilliant breaking ball in the inner half. It's just funny to look over there and see Dalton Rushing in the outfield. We've seen him behind the plate. We've seen him at first, and now we are seeing him at right field. And as you mentioned yesterday, left field.
Absolutely. So good to see him moving around. You got Colby Thomas in center. Joe Lampy gets the night off. Max Anderson also with a rare night off in the Braves order. Some different things happening tonight as the Braves look to get some of their key players some rest here throughout the final few games of the season before they have the real day off on Thursday before the playoffs start Friday here at Doran Park. Boy, what an atmosphere we are going to experience here at Doran. Talking to Darren Weeks earlier, he said maybe expect 4,000 strong when it's all said and done, especially if we play Katuitt.
3-2 taken to center field. Going back is Colby Thomas, just shy of the warning track, and he's got it. Jake Bennett fights out of a second and third situation in strands 2. Bennett battles back, and the Braves will have the bats in their hands for the first time in the bottom of the first just after this break. We'd like to give a quick shout out to Gigi and Papa Heyer, the grandparents of our producer, Megan Heyer, who has done an excellent job this season as always. And thank you for watching every game and also inspiring our crew to repair our door. I'm not sure what that means, but I'm sure you do out there. But we appreciate you listening, and we're going to shout you out real quick. Christian Knapczyk up the middle. The throw from the shortstop Jarvis, they got him. Apologies for being a bit tardy there. We're testing out some technical issues for Calvin in a couple of innings. When we send it down to him, he is the whiz with all of the playoff situations. He's well ahead of me in that department. He can tell you and talk your ear off, and he'll give you a brief rundown of what to expect in the next coming week in the West Division. But a ground out to start it off for Christian Knapczyk in the one spot, and Tanner Schobel, hot as ever, moving up to the top of the order.
No, big shout out, obviously you mentioned Gigi and Papa Hire. Megan's grandparents could not do what we do here out on the broadcast booth with all the equipment without Megan, and obviously her dad, our treasurer and grill master over there at the concession stand. So thank you, Megan, and thank you, Mr. Jeff Hire, for all that you guys do for us and making our lives a lot easier. And obviously thanks to the support at home from her grandparents for watching us along every game here in this Braves' incredible season.
Now 2-1 for Tanner Schobel. I mean, boy, is he putting up quite a performance. Not necessarily as if he came onto the scene later in this season, but more so that it just seems that he's caught his stride, got his rhythm, and is really in a groove at the moment. He's just knotted it up 2-2.
Yeah, obviously just snapped that 7-game hitting streak a night ago. Was 0 for 5, had plenty of chances, but made good contact with the ball all night. And now moving up into the 2 spots. I've seen him at the cleanup spot for much of the past few games. He's been all around the Braves lineup. We talked about moving Joe Lampy around. Well, how about Tanner Schobel? He's been at 6, he's been at 7, he's been at 8, he's been at 9, he's been at 4, now he's at 2.
Crazy.
That's called a versatile player up and down the order, especially in the middle infield, one of your more sure-handed defenders. And at the plate, Tanner's been consistent all year, but I think now he's really taking the jump, and he's really pouring it on offensively, and I think that's a huge key for the Braves to be successful come postseason time.
3-2. Another foul ball from Schobel.
As we introduce the Wareham Gatemen starting pitcher tonight, it's the lefty Cole Kirschipper. Kirschipper on the season is 1-0, a 1.12 ERA, 13 strikeouts in 8 innings, just 2 walks for Kirschipper from Makina, Illinois, out of University of Illinois.
Another foul ball. Kirschipper, as you mentioned, dealing with a tough 1-2 punch that Harvey Shapiro is rolling out for the first time.
Yeah, Schobel, who was actually tied for the team lead in batting average. Coming into yesterday's game, Knapczyk had a few hits and broke that.
2 right up the middle, both handled by the Gatemen defense. Tossing it over is Kirschipper for out number 2.
Tanner, who came into this game just below 300 at 299. Now with the ground out, Knapczyk picked up hits number 31 and 32 last night, as Dalton Rushing actually took over for the team lead in hits with his 33rd hit of the season last night. And Rushing now, as you mentioned, in right field tonight, so excited to see what he can do out there. And obviously back in the 3 spot starting tonight in this Braves lineup.
Foul ball off the right ankle of Dalton Rushing. So 2 ground balls right up the middle, both handled, and a quick 2 outs. Jake Bennett again battling back. 2 very typical types of singles that Jake Bennett gives up, where they're dribblers shallow on the infield. But Dalton Rushing looking to continue to prove that the Braves are best with 2 outs against them. Kirschipper. That's going to miss inside. 1-1. On deck is Ben Huber. His first at-bat yesterday at Spillane Field. This one taken foul, and it scored Joe Lampy.
Yeah, sure did. Obviously, Rushing had that base hit last night. That came off of Christian Rubik, who has struggled at points during this season. I should say, has struggled for most of the season, has given up a run in every outing but 2. And he looked good last night up until that final frame in the 7th where the Braves scored 3 off him before the All-Star Skilperort came in. Braves got the run. It was an unearned run. It actually came on a Wareham Gatemen error. They picked up 3 of those last night. Braves were clean defensively and scored the run on the hit-by pitch to Joe Lampy on the first pitch of the AB, nonetheless.
Now a full count with 2 outs. A preview of what the scene might look like on Friday night, which will be our first playoff matchup here at Bourne Park. A good crowd here, but we're expecting a show on Friday night, and Dalton Rushing will be a part of it, and he will trot down to first off a 3-2 walk.
Good start. We know how the Braves always say this. I feel like I'm a broken record here, but the Braves are such a consistent and good 2-out hitting team. It's something about drawing 2-out walks, which they do so frequently. And now you get your first look in person here, Daniel, at the big right-handed hitting Ben Huber from Limestone, where, you know, he only hit .439 there. Nothing crazy. Just put up gaudy numbers, transfer into UConn.
And he went 2 for 4 last night.
Yeah, blasted 10 homers. Drove in 48. Nothing out of the ordinary.
Unbelievable stuff. From the Limestone University Saint. He faces a 1-0 count in his first home game, and he's ahead 2-0. As we mentioned, the Falmouth Commodores are down 8, 10-2 against the Cotuit Cavaliers. That one at Lowell Park, a swing and a miss from Huber.
Yeah, and for Kirschipper, what you're going to see from him here today has a few things that he's going to come at you with. Fastball, slider, curveball. So it doesn't really feature a changeup, but has both a slider and a breaking ball, just as Jake Bennett does.
Swing and a miss, now 2-2. The sun shining down here at Bourne Park. The regular season, incredibly somehow, is coming to a close, and the Braves have remained on top the entire season and have clinched the 1 spot, a foul ball on a half-hearted swing. A look around the league. Briefly, Brewster Whitecaps 0, Harwich Mariners 0, and that East Division matchup. No score in the Hyannis versus YD game, and the Chatham Anglers facing off against the Orleans Firebirds later tonight for a 7 p.m. first pitch. 2-2. Now another full count that Kirschipper is going to have to face.
So, you know how I asked you the other night what Brewster's record was against Harwich, and you said, oh, is it Harwich 3-0? And I was like, oh, it's Brewster 3-0. I asked Calvin the same question last night. Same exact answer as you. Isn't that funny?
High fly ball from Huber. Going to stay in the infield. Underneath it is the second baseman, Troy, working to his right. And they're going to strand Dalton Rushing, who walks slowly back to the dugout from third. And just like that, we are done here in the first inning, 0-0. 2 hits from the Gatemen. The Braves still looking for their first, but they're in the field, and on the mound will be Bennett just after this break. Jake Bennett for the second inning here at Doran Park, a Sunday evening matchup between the Wareham Gatemen and the Bourne Braves. We played the first half of this series at Spillane Field last night. Calvin Cristoforo had the call for me, as Bennett misses high to the 6th spot. Jimmy Crooks, the catcher for the Gatemen.
Yeah, yesterday was a little bit odd, obviously. 18 consecutive scoreless innings at Spillane, and then Wareham jumps out for 3 in the first. They tack on another in the third, but then they went scoreless after that, and you can thank Colt Chidoba. A large part of that reason that Wareham's offense was shut down after that. Obviously, Kelsey Ward came in, got 2 important outs after a leadoff single. Eric Adler came in, got a big runner to Tanner Schobel to end the 8th, and then punched out the side in order in the 9th as that went, actually, I should say not in order, did hit Devereaux Harrison, Anthony Frechette, and struck out Cameron James, Kellum Clark, the pinch hitter, and then Devereaux Harrison looking. So impressive stuff for Eric Adler.
Adler does it again. 3-0. Bennett finds the strike zone for the first time in the top of the second. Still 0-0 here, and Wareham Gatemen's chances really looking down, especially with a result of a 10-2 game at the moment at Lowell Park. Now a full count.
Yeah, Crooks came into the game last night to pinch hit for Anthony Frechette, who started that game. Crooks was a late scratch in the Wareham lineup. Did not find out why. I think maybe just wanted to start Frechette, who we've seen primarily over Crooks, who's been one of the league's best catchers. Crooks came on to pinch hit. Eric Adler hit him with a pitch in the foot, a pitch that Harvey Shapiro not happy about the call, as it was very close to hitting the ground.
3-2 Tanner Schobel's way, fielded cleanly over to Moylan for out number 1. Tanner Schobel getting a lot of action over there at second. We've chronicled it all season, how Reeves and I are fans of him on the left side of the infield and Christian Knapczyk on the right. Harvey Shapiro has flip-flopped that, but they do about as stellar a job as any 2 middle infielders in this league.
Yeah, and I think that what makes them really, really versatile, really, really good is that they're both as interchangeable. I think Christian Knapczyk
drilled to center. That's going to get down over the running Christian Knapczyk to Colby Thomas in center.
Christian Knapczyk is just as good of a fielder as Tanner Schobel is at shortstop defensively. I just like Tanner Schobel's arm a little more for those longer range throws, where I think Knapczyk profiles a little better at second base, at least for his size. But don't get me wrong, there's been plenty of shortstops the size of Knapczyk that have had excellent baseball careers. You think of Rafael Furcal, you think of Ozzie Smith, just 2 of many shortstops that profile and look like Knapczyk does over there at short.
That was Cameron James, the third baseman, who had that base knock. 2 innings in a row with Gatemen on the base path. Bennett looks his way and checks him at first. Safe, though. At the plate, Kellum Clark. On deck, Cade Kern, and then to the top of the order. Bennett's been throwing strikes, 21 strikes to 12 balls. The stealing from first. That throw not in time and a bit high. And Cameron James takes over second just like that. Now they have a Wareham Gateman in scoring position. On a 1-1 count, 1 out, top of the second, 0-0. And the Braves are still looking for their first hit. Weren't able to do anything. They got the bat on the ball in the bottom of the first, but couldn't produce any results.
Yeah, a Wareham team that likes to run. Third in the league. That was their 42nd stolen base. Only behind Katuitt and Brewster with 57 and 43 for their respective teams. Kellum Clark, a Mississippi State Bulldog, obviously likely knows Xavier Lovett and Cade Smith, who has since departed fairly well.
1-2, swing and a miss. Garcia was almost going to throw it down on a dropped third strike, and I think Kellum Clark thought that that was what should have been coming, but another strikeout, and the third of the day for Jake Bennett. Out number 2. And that is a huge matchup and a huge win there for Jake Bennett, especially with a man in scoring position. 2 outs with the bottom of the lineup in Cade Kern up to the plate.
Yeah, Cade Kern, who had one at bat yesterday, flew out to right, was pinch hit for Owen Diodati. I assume it's maybe a reason in which Cade Kern had committed an error in right field. Not sure if that had anything to do with it. Not sure if Wareham was just playing matchups. Chidoba was in the game, a righty. After Sansone started the game, not sure if they did a righty-lefty then wanted to bring in Diodati, but usually don't bring in your star player in the 9th spot after not initially putting him in the lineup. So it was an interesting decision last night when Cade was lifted. But obviously he knows this place very well back in the Braves 6-5 win. I believe that was late June, in which the Braves won that game when Wareham doubled the Braves in the hit column. If you don't remember, Daniel, but Cade Kern blasted that 3-run homer over the Braves bullpen.
He blasts this one into center field. Will Cameron James score? The throw. Garcia's tag, he's got him.
Wow.
What a play by this Braves defense.
I mean, Colby Thomas, time and time again. Web Gem City, this time again with the arm.
What a throw and what a tag. Colby Thomas to John Garcia. That's how the top of the second ends, and the Braves are riding a wave of momentum. The man with the throw from center field, catching Cameron James, rounding third and heading to home with the tag from Garcia, is now due up 0-1 to Colby Thomas. And what a play to keep this game scoreless and to get out of the top of the second.
Unbelievable. I mean, Colby Thomas, who's taking over in center field for Joe Lampy tonight, has been unbelievable. Web gem after web gem. It's whether been diving catches, sliding catches, or rockets to the plate like that. He's done it all year long defensively.
Well, 1-2-3 right there. The first batter strikes out Colby Thomas, not improving on a 200 average. 4 homers, 13 RBIs. And Nick Goodwin, who we are seeing in left field today, now sits at the 6th spot for the Braves. Fouled off, and Kirschipper is really pitching well so far. Has gone through the first 5 batters in this stacked Braves lineup.
Yeah, Kirschipper, who arrived at the Cape late, just obviously with, what the Braves have had, some late exits and some new arrivals His last outing was at Katuitt, or versus Katuitt, I should say. That was in a tie. 4 innings of 1 hit, 1 run baseball, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. And against Chatham on July 19th, his first outing. 4 innings of shutout ball, 1 hit. Both were out of relief, so his first start of the season here tonight.
Now 2-2 to Nick Goodwin, batting .222. He has a homer and 5 RBIs on the season for the Kansas State product. A bit of an up and down season at the plate for Goodwin as he now faces a full count, but it seems as if in the last few games he's really been finding his rhythm, and even in batting practice you can see that he just looks more comfortable with a wooden bat in his hands. Swing and a miss there for strikeout number 2. And Kirschipper is feeling comfortable at Doran Park.
Yeah, good pitch there from Kirschipper. He's had excellent numbers just through 2 outings, and he's looked good here thus far. And as Josh Moylan starting tonight at first base, is in the 7th spot. He's been bouncing around primarily between the 6, 7, and 8 spots. But another guy who's been swinging the bat well, and Josh Moylan.
He drops it towards the second baseman. The backhand by Troy, and the throw is a success, and the Wareham Gatemen silence this crowd after a web gem from Colby Thomas to John Garcia. But 1-2-3 for Kirschipper, and we're going to the top of the 3rd, scoreless here in Bourne.
Nick Galley alongside Joe Sullivan. We're taking over for the 3rd inning in the booth. I'm going to be doing play-by-play. Joe's going to be on color. Then the bottom half, we're going to switch it up. So we're going to take Reeves and Daniel's job right here.
Yeah, they're done.
They're
they're
done.
And Nicole, if you're listening, Darren, you too, you can release them. They're done. You can relieve them of their duties for the summer.
Honestly,
we got this. We can multitask. We can do
well,
social media at the same time.
yeah, I'm going to feel bad, though, because, I mean, they're going to be out of a job. What are they going to do? I'm not going to feel bad. No, really not. Trace Gonzalez leading off the inning. Jake Bennett still on the mound. 2 scoreless from Bennett so far. He's scattered 4 hits. His delivery. Gets a fastball in there for strike 1. I mean, this is the easiest thing I've ever done.
Yeah, seriously.
I mean, what, they just sit out here and do this the entire game?
Apparently, yeah. And they just take turns like we're doing.
And we need them on staff? Okay. Breaking ball looks to stay up a little bit. That misses for ball 1. 1-1 the count to Gonzalez, who led off this game with an infield single. Chopped it to Tanner Schobel. Tried to barehand it, but Gonzalez probably would have beaten the throw. And this one just misses the outside corner. Fastball. Count is now 2-1. I mean, this is...
This is a solid view of the plate. I didn't realize.
It's not too
It's
bad.
not centered, but it's you can tell ball.
You can tell, yeah.
Yeah.
You get the pitches, too.
Yep. That's the toughest thing from this side.
Exactly.
Especially for me being a catcher. I'm so used to this home
Oh,
plate
yeah.
view, just
Oh.
seeing the ball move.
As Gonzalez fouls it back for strike 2. But, yeah, you got that catcher's vantage point, you know. You got that. You know, I did a little bit of catching, but you were much better than me. So you made it much farther. Played a little Legion. That was about it. Jake Bennett looking to put away Gonzalez. He lines one to left. And that one is going to be caught out there in left field by Nick Goodwin. I believe it's his 3rd appearance this season. We've seen him in left. Have you liked Nick Goodwin in left field?
Well, right there on that play, he looked like a natural.
He did.
Good track, didn't drift too much, so we'll take that. That being said, I'm sure he would tell you the same thing. I'm sure he's much more comfortable in the infield.
Yeah.
I don't think he plays much outfield at school.
I don't think he had played any out there, and then I think it was a game against Wareham, actually. He got his first start out there.
That's right, yep.
So another bunt we're seeing. Bennett tried to barehand it. It goes over the mound. We're going to see what they rule that, but Jim Jarvis on first base after a bunt that came off the bat hot. And Jake Bennett tried to barehand it, just kind of rolled over his hand over the backside of the mound, and Jarvis going to reach.
Got to work on your PFPs, Jake.
Number 4, Tommy.
That's going to go as a base hit. You like the barehand there, or you think go with the glove?
I mean, gut reaction. I don't think he was expecting the bunt there.
No. And it was coming off hot, too.
It did come off hot for a bunt, yeah.
Well, Tommy Troy steps in. That's Jarvis's 2nd consecutive bunt, so he's not going to swing today, I don't think.
Okay. Bring the infield in next time he comes up.
You got to. 1-0 the count. Bennett's first pitch missed. That one's going to miss low. 2-0 now the count. Troy comes in batting .279. Struck out in his first at-bat today. Up 2-0 right now, though. And that's going to be fouled back. Bennett has a strike on Troy. Got to say, what do you think about Wareham's been pretty aggressive on the base path so far?
They have, yeah.
You think we're going to see more of that? Because I feel like we will as long as Bennett's in this game.
Yeah, I would assume so. He doesn't have the quickest delivery to the plate out of the stretch. And Garcia's got a great arm back there, but he's still newer to the Cape.
Yeah.
He's our most recent pickup catcher-wise.
Yeah.
So, yeah, as good as his arm is, I think teams are going to try and test him just because he's probably still got some butterflies.
For the nature of it, yeah. 2-1 the count. Bennett looking to bring things even.
There he goes.
And they have him in a rundown. Josh Moreland throws over to Knapczyk, and they got him. Great play by Bennett. That front foot did not come home just yet. Jarvis took off looking for second, and Bennett gets him caught in the rundown. Josh Moreland throws on to Knapczyk for the second out of this inning.
If he delivers to the plate there, that kid's going to walk right on second base. But that's the advantage for the lefties. They got that vision of the guy taking off early on the first move for a pickoff attempt, so he can just if he slide steps there. I mean, Garcia has a chance to throw him out, but the advantage of the leg kick, he's got it.
Just too early of a jump right there from Jarvis. Bennett picked it up, makes a great play. 3-1 though the count to Troy here at the plate with 2 outs in the inning now after Jarvis was caught in a rundown and picked off. Bennett's going to deliver. Now from the windup. And it's a ground ball to Zach Agnos. He fields it on the backhand, throws to first, and it is dropped at first by Moreland, but I think Troy might have beaten that anyway. Moreland a little bit slow to get up after he went into the splits.
My hamstring hurts just watching that.
Oh, no, and he is down. He is grabbing at that hamstring.
That's not good.
Trainer and Harvey Shapiro now coming out to take a look at Josh Moreland, who is down over on the first base side. Infield single for Troy, but
great bid by Moreland.
Great bid. It was an unbelievable stretch.
Close play no matter what.
You hate to see this too, especially for a guy like Josh Moreland, who's just starting to find his rhythm, find his groove at the plate offensively. He was looking better defensively as well.
He was, yeah. He's improved tremendously over the course of the season. He really struggled. I think he told me at one point he was like 5 for 51 his first 50 so at bats, and he was just starting to find his groove. He's a great kid.
Great kid. Always has the attitude too. I mean, always a great attitude.
Wants to be here.
Moreland's
I really hope this isn't the last we see of him, because I mean, we're getting this close to school. And
he just told me today. I believe he goes back the 18th, I want to say.
That's what most of those southern schools do, Yeah, you really hope he's getting carried
being
off.
helped up by John Garcia and our trainer Aaron right now. And he is being helped off the field.
I myself have pulled my both hamstrings multiple times, and it's never fun. It's not it's always a nagging injury.
Those are tough to get rid of.
They hang around for quite some time.
That is just tough to see. Wishing obviously nothing but the best for Josh Moylan.
I'm going to guess we're going to get Dalton going to first here.
Or even Max Anderson, who
Max could go to first too, just straight up.
Didn't get the start today. And it looks like it is going to be Max Anderson.
Yep.
So Max Anderson comes out to first. Josh Moylan departs this game with an apparent hamstring injury.
We shouldn't assume. Yep.
But from what you saw,
that where he was grabbing and the action that caused the pain,
now at first base, from the University
in my
of
opinion,
Nebraska,
that's a safe
number
assumption.
31, Max Anderson. Now batting.
Got a decent-sized crowd here tonight at Durham Park.
It is really good.
Sunday night, no traffic getting down here.
It wasn't bad.
I had nothing. I had to come from old exit 3. I don't even know the new exits anymore.
No, who does? Diodati steps in. Bennett now deals. It's a ground ball to the right side, and it's going to get through a diving Tanner Schobel. Troy is going to make his way to third. And runners on first and third now with 2 outs in the inning for the Gatemen.
Ball always finds you when you enter the game like that.
It really does.
Max was holding someone on. He didn't have much of a chance of that. That was a hot shot off the bat.
Now batting, the DH from Notre Dame, number 9, Jack Brannigan.
Jack Brannigan steps in now. Had the home run last night.
Yep.
So he likes hitting against these Braves, safe to say. His first one of the year last night, too, I believe.
Got a mound visit here. See what we'll do with the
Eddie
defensive
Marco,
alignment.
yep, coming out. Jake Bennett, through 2 2/3, has given up 7 hits. But
No
a lot
runs.
of them just infield, squibbers, bunts, you name it.
He's getting soft contact for the most part. This has been a gritty start, to say the least.
Very good. I mean, he's working out of jams.
Yep. It looks like we got Ken Turner warming up in the bullpen.
Ken Turner, who we've mainly seen in a starting capacity as of late, but
good long relief guy right now.
No doubt about it, but we have seen him in relief appearances in the past, of course.
And with playoffs coming up, we don't need to leave anyone out there to run up a pitch count, screw with their stats. We can. I'm sure they trust Jake to get this third out here, but he might have a shorter leash in the coming innings.
Wouldn't surprise me if he did. Jake Bennett, the pitch count, getting up there now. 25 pitches in the first. It's continued to stay pretty high here as we're in the top of the third. He's working with guys on first and third here from the stretch. I would not be surprised to see Diodati try and take a base here, honestly, the way that Wareham's been running.
Yep, and they're going to be aggressive, and they've got their playoff lives on the line tonight. So
it's a strike right over the outside corner. Looked like a breaking ball.
One, I could see it right here.
Yeah.
Steal. Yep.
You putting the bet down? You putting the bet down?
I'm not going to bet.
1 cheeseburger?
But
a cheeseburger on it.
Fine. Cheeseburger.
Here we go.
Let's see it. Nah, he doesn't look like he's running.
He's not.
There goes
fly ball. It's to right field. Dalton Rushing coming in. Schobel going out, and Rushing dives, and it's going to drop, and a run is going to score for the Gatemen. Diodati is going to take third, and Brannigan is going to reach first with a single. Again, not hard contact, but just found the right spot.
Yep. Another infielder playing outfield tonight out in right field. Both our corner infielders, or outfielders, excuse me, with Dalton Rushing. Colby Thomas looking fine in center so far, though.
Yeah, he's looked all right. He's looked all right. I'll say, I mean, that throw, you know, pretty good.
Solid throw.
It's tough live tweeting these. Reeves and Daniel don't have to do this.
So for those that don't know, Nick live tweets basically everything that goes on during the game, injuries, hits, runs, pitching changes on his own account, and you should follow him. Is it at Nick Galley?
At the Nick Galley.
The Nick Galley, that's right. And then I do the Bourne Braves
Reeves is
live tweets.
Basically bashing
Reeves is
my handle.
shaking in his boots over here. Scared to death of us new commentators. Yeah, I live tweet scoring plays on the Braves account, and I run most of the other social media accounts as well for us.
Don't be modest. You're the best social media.
Me and Ellie are the best social media team in the entire Cape League. I am not afraid to say that.
I was going to say you're the best social media Twitter guy, and then Ellie is the best TikTok. There he goes, and it's going to be a fly ball left field. Nick Goodwin going back.
Yeah, guy.
And this will end the inning.
All right.
Wareham, though, takes a 1-0 lead here in the top of the third. Josh Mullen has exited with an injury. You do have to tweet that. Max Anderson is now checked in this game. Wareham leads 1-0 as we head to the bottom of the third. Joe Sullivan going to have the play-by-play when we come back. Stay right here. You're listening to Bourne Braves Baseball on the YouTube live stream.
And welcome back to Bourne Braves Baseball. I am Joe Sullivan, your color commentator from last inning. I'm now on the play-by-play, and I'm joined by Nick Galley once again. Now he's on the color. I enjoyed being the color man.
You did a good job.
Zach Agnos, the ECU Pirate, swings through strike one. Yeah, the color man, there's no pressure.
No.
Now, I wanted you to go first, so I knew what I had to say.
Oh, you'll be fine.
Yep. Slider, low.
Hey, if Reeves and Daniel can do it, I mean, come on.
Here's the pitch on the 1-1. Outside, ball 2.
If Reeves and Daniel, you could put two monkeys up here. They could do it.
As much crap as we give Reeves and Daniel, they do a tremendous job.
Yes, they're awesome.
They are the best broadcast duo in the league, bar none. Agnos looks at strike 2. Fastball in the inside corner. 2-2 count.
They do a great job. I do give them a lot of heat.
Woo, up and in.
You got to keep them on their toes, though, you know? You don't want them getting too confident.
No.
Because then they'll move on to bigger and better things. We won't have them here.
Exactly. We got to ground them a little bit.
We do.
Braves still searching for their first hit. As Agnos strikes out, swinging. On a 3-2 pitch. Fastball. A little bit off the plate there, but with these umpires, you don't want to take that chance with that ball that's ball and a half, 2 balls off the plate, because you might get rung up on it anyways.
You might.
Here comes John Garcia, the Grambling State transfer.
I was talking to Calvin on the pregame show. I want to see a couple hits from him tonight.
Yes, we could use some more production from the bottom third of the order, I think. And that's not a shot at anyone. That's just no matter who's been down there, it's been the top 2/3 have carried us, I'd say.
No doubt.
It's 1-1 here to Garcia. Swings through, strike 2.
He was looking pretty good in BP today, too, so a couple hits could definitely do him well. No doubt about it.
For sure. Yeah, he's
a little
got
confidence
a sweet
booster,
swing.
too. Yes. Oh, my.
Loses the bat. Did that go through? It gets stuck in the net. Garcia strikes out. That is not the first time we've seen a bat released through the swing on a strikeout this season.
This is the quickest play-by-play inning I think there's ever been.
This pitcher is working. He is just mowing through. We're going to send it down to Calvin real quick.
Well, guys, I don't have much on Josh Moylan. Though it is what they are calling a left hamstring injury, and he's done for the evening. I don't know much else more, but if I have it, I'll get to you guys.
Thank you, Calvin. Injury report brought to you by Calvin Cristoforo. Napchick is quickly down 0-2. As I was saying, this pitcher is absolutely moving.
Struck out 4 of the last 5, so.
This is a...
I guess he doesn't want you on play-by-play.
Apparently not.
Really does not want you on play-by-play. Was that an immaculate? How many pitches was that?
No. There was a ball or two.
Oh, yeah, Agnos had the full count. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want a mulligan. That was way too quick. But for those of you at home watching, thank you for joining me and Nick Galley. We enjoyed our time up here.
Great.
It was brief.
Fantastic.
It was fun. Maybe we have a future. Maybe not.
I might stick to writing, personally.
I'll probably stay with social media. This is a lot of talking.
Yeah, I mean, this is just we like to, you know.
We just like to show Nick and Reeves, or Dan Reeves, excuse me, that we can do it. Yeah, your job's on the line, guys. Watch out.
Watch out.
Thank you for joining us. You'll be right back with Reeves and Dan for the 4th inning, the Braves and Gatemen. Signing off.
Back up here in the broadcast booth, great job by Joe Sullivan and Nick Galley. It was fun seeing them fill in on play-by-play each for half an inning. Unfortunately for Joe, got 3 consecutive strikeouts, but obviously the Braves now have a new pitcher. Jake Bennett just goes 3 innings, allows 8 hits, so a lot of base hits given up, Daniel, for Jake Bennett. But I think overall, just 1 run, a good tune-up for the postseason, not trying to get his pitch count too high, and now Ken Turner replaces him.
Yeah, I like this move, too, for Ken Turner to come into the game. We've given up 8 hits, but the Gatemen have only been able to score 1 in this game, a 1-0 game, and Ken Turner from Hartford now going to be the dealer for this team. But another outing for Jake Bennett that just kind of seemed that it didn't represent his production, didn't represent how he pitched, because I thought he had a good outing here today.
You had 2 bunt singles, both by Jim Jarvis. You had, that infield single over there by Tres Gonzalez to start the game. No, excuse me, that was up the middle. There was another infield single I know in this game by Wareham over the first 3 innings. And then you had that blooper into right field that scored the run. Obviously, it's Dalton Rushing's first game ever here in right field. He doesn't boast the best of speed, and it was honestly closer to Tanner Schobel catching that ball. That ball just tipped off the glove of either Schobel or Rushing that fell for the RBI. So you can look at 4 of the 8 hits. Half of the hits that Bennett just gave up to 3 could have been outs in different situations. As this one tapped over to second by Cameron James. Schobel fields, and a soft toss over to the now first baseman, Max Anderson, and James is retired. 7-8-9 due up for the Gatemen. This inning, they have 8 hits. As we mentioned, 1 run. The Braves still hitless through 3.
How about that? Tanner Schobel's been kept busy over there at second base. Max Anderson taking over for Joshua Moylan. We hope he's okay. We were off the air when that injury occurred. And Josh is just the guy that we do not want to see. We don't want to see any of these Braves, but he's such a rootable guy.
Absolutely.
Such a guy you can get behind, and just a tough scene to see him go down.
As Kellum Clark digs in, he fouls this pitch away on top of Upper Cape Tech. Oh, and a nice catch by a Bourne Brave parent. Gives it to one of the kids. Love to see that here. Partly cloudy night. Some blue skies above the field, but clouds covering most of it. As Ken Turner deals 1-1, that's in the dirt. As the Braves defense, the only change, obviously, Anderson and for Moylan, you mentioned that. Never want to see any guy go down, especially before the postseason starts. And a guy like Josh Moylan, whose bat was starting to heat up. Meanwhile, for Ken Turner, appearing in his 8th game, Daniel, he's made 3 starts, another relief outing, 5 of those for Ken Turner now. A 2.54 ERA has been quite effective on the year. Another guy with a lot of strikeouts and not a lot of walks. 16-4 in that category. Gave up 5 hits, 6 runs, but only 1 of those was earned. And you remember that dreadful game the Braves had against Katuitt on Tuesday. As a 3-1 good pitch fastball cut through there by Kellum Clark. Full count now, but obviously Ken Turner had some errors behind him. Quite a few, actually. 3 behind Turner defensively, and the Braves just could not find their stride defensively with Ken Turner on the mound against the Cavaliers.
A walk there on a 3-2 count. And yeah, for Ken Turner, you got to just block that out of your mind, move forward. This is a new situation. We're lucky to be only down by 1. We haven't even posted a hit just yet, and we have made it through this lineup. But Ken Turner with an opportunity in somewhat of a game that has a clean sheet at the moment. And Jake Bennett was hit up, but he wasn't hit hard. That's how I would describe it. He got some funky hits off of him, bloopers over the second baseman, Schobel, one just shallow of Dalton Rushing, a couple of infield singles, bunts. He was hit up, but the defense, the defense behind him made a couple of great plays, but also made a couple of mistakes.
Braves middle infield and double play depth for the 9-hole hitter, Cade Kern. 1-0, good pitch, a fastball, and a called strike. One and nothing Wareham here. Top of the 4th inning. As Turner checks on the runner at first in Kellum Clark.
I wish there was a way that we could jump into those guys' roles, but we really can't with the writing. It's not like I can be a writer for an inning, right?
Right? No, absolutely. It's
maybe I could be taking pictures, taking over for Joe.
You know what? This is maybe hopefully tomorrow. We were talking about we could see Will Henschel, our public address announcer, on the microphone. I have Daniel. you've wanted to jump into that role, so quite possibly when Will is on the air tomorrow for an inning, I could stay on with the color and you could take over the PA.
This is like
which maybe a tease for the fans at home.
Well, we're in a position like Harvey Shapiro where we know we're going to be going to the playoffs, so now we're trying a couple of new things.
Yes,
not
exactly.
just on the field, but also in the press box. And I would love to take over PA. I think that would be so cool to have the microphone blasting your voice out throughout Doran Park.
You got to do it.
I got to try it.
2-2 the count here to Cade Kern. Turner deals. It's a breaking ball that is spoiled away towards the Braves' dugout. Another big crowd here tonight at Doran Park, as we are excited to see how much this crowd grows in numbers come Friday. Obviously, roughly 5 days away. And the Braves will host either the Cotuit Kettleers or the Falmouth Commodores. Still could be Wareham, but their percentage to make it is less than 1%. If you calculate it, they have to win out and have many things go their way, which is just so unlikely. So likely either Cotuit or the Commodores of Falmouth.
If I had to guess, I would guess Cotuit.
Yeah, absolutely.
For a team that has had our number twice this season, that's the scary thing, and they're peaking at the right time. The Falmouth Commodores have battled back in the game that is at the bottom of the 7th at Lowell Park. It's 11-6. But I think we're going to be facing the Kettleers in the first round of the West Division playoffs. And they're a team that scares me. They're peaking at the right time. They have the bats going. They put up double digits against us a few days ago, and they put up double digits tonight against the Falmouth Commodores, who we know are a good team. They're a solid squad.
Good breaking ball that catches Cade Kern looking on the outer half. Big strikeout there for Ken Turner. He takes care of Kern. Clark still stranded at first, 2 away for the top, and Tres Gonzalez.
Now batting, the center fielder from Georgia Tech.
Hey, you mentioned, though, a Cotuit team that has obviously had our number at times. We've had theirs as well, too. The Braves with a 9-2 win there. But when you really take a look at it, Braves will get one last look at Cotuit. That's tomorrow. A big home game and really could be a playoff preview for Friday night. We're super excited about that one. Not sure who is slated to get the ball as of yet. We'll try to get a look at the probables, maybe get some word on who is expected to start. Don't know if they've announced anything or even have a probable. Obviously, was talking about this with Calvin before the game. After you kind of get most of your projected playoff starters some starts here well before the playoff start, as a nice changeup is swung on a miss there by Gonzalez. Quickly, 0-2 the count. Well, then obviously, Daniel, you would love for the Bourne Braves to get some guys in the game over the course of the final 3 games that haven't had as much work. Maybe guys like Frank Doling, Bryson Cafaro, Kelsey Ward, the new kid from Indiana State. Obviously, all need work, and those are some games where you could, regardless of the score, get them 3 or 4 innings to really extend them, and guys that you'll need come playoff time. 0-2. This is popped up. Shallow center. Colby Thomas coming in. Out goes Knapczyk. Thomas makes a nice running catch. And that'll end things for the Gatemen in the top of the 4th inning. As we send things here back up into the Braves broadcast booth, Reeves Jackson joined by you. Obviously, Daniel and I have been talking about it all broadcast long, but all the potential playoff scenarios. Will it be Cotuit? Will it be Falmouth? And what's going on in the Eastern Division? Well, to tell you all about that and to explain and give you the rundown, we'll send it down to Calvin to give you all the playoff scenarios.
Well, guys, with just 3 games left in the regular season, the playoff push is happening, and it's happening fast. And here in the West Division, there's a lot of different teams that still have a shot to get into the postseason. So it's very, very interesting what's happening right now. I'll start you off with what I do know. The Braves have wrapped up the #1 seed in the West Division. They'll have home field advantage in the first round of the playoffs. Hyannis has been eliminated from postseason play, so we won't be seeing them. Wareham, the team on the other side tonight, they can be eliminated with a loss here at Doran Park or a Cotuit win. And that just leaves 2 teams, Cotuit and Falmouth, and those guys are actually going toe-to-toe right now at Lowell Park. That game in the 7th inning, the Kettleers with an 11-6 lead. And if Cotuit holds on, they just need 2 more wins or a win and a Falmouth loss to get in. if the Commodores find a way to come back in that game, they will just need to have a better end of season 3-game record to the Kettleers to get in. So a lot of different things to look for as we go down this stretch here before the playoffs. But we do know this, the Braves will have home field advantage in round 1 here at Doran Park on Friday night.
Number 27, Tanner Schobel.
Great report, Calvin. Obviously, a lot of things could happen. But with Cotuit leading Falmouth 11-6, obviously daylight getting short out there. Bottom of the 7th could be called early as Tanner Schobel leads things off here against Kirschiper, the left-hander, who is in his 4th inning of work. No hits yet. There's a lot of things that could happen here. Obviously, as Schobel sends one into right field, that's going to fall in for the Braves' first hit of the night. Good start for the Braves' 2-hole hitter.
And I was going to say, just before that hit by Tanner Schobel, this is a very Bourne Braves type of game. We're just waiting and waiting. We're on the edge of our seats for them to explode offensively. Tanner Schobel in his first time at the 2 spot, producing here, and just feels like that time in the game where you're waiting for the floodgates to open. Against the Gatemen, no pun intended.
Well, it was good. It was very good. Here's Dalton Rushing. Tonight's right fielder, sounds weird to say, as Kirschiper deals in a breaking ball that is fouled off. Was tailing away, looked like a ball, but Rushing gives it a cut anyways. Obviously, if Cotuit wins tonight, the magic number we talked about goes from 7 to 3. And then if Cotuit wins tomorrow night with the Falmouth loss, Cotuit clinches the 2 seed. Obviously, a lot could change if the Kettleers lose to the Braves and Falmouth picks up a win. It could be a lot tighter for the final 2 games. As a breaking ball outer half called strike, Rushing asks where it was and agrees with the umpire. Obviously, Daniel, things could be very easy over the next 2 days. We know our playoff opponent, or things could get extremely sticky going into Wednesday's last game of the season.
Most certainly. I mean, it's going to be an interesting stretch, and as much as we were looking at the East Division, the West Division has proved to be a lot more dramatic, it seems, moving towards the end of this season.
As Rushing goes down swinging, I think that's a very good point. We looked at the Eastern Division all season long, and we were like, okay, what teams are really going to come out of the pack of Brewster, Harwich, YD, even Orleans? Chatham has always kind of been at the lower end of the totem pole out there in the East Division, but you take a look at Orleans, who on paper has the best offense in the Cape League with the most runs scored, the most home runs. You would think that translates into wins, but it hasn't because their pitching staff has been lackluster. As that one fouled off into the screen by Ben Huber. A big cut, 0-1. But obviously, Brewster really separated themselves. Harwich really came on strong. YD fell off the table. And that is, therefore, created your likely 2 playoff teams in the Eastern Division. Brewster's already clinched a playoff spot, not the top seed. And meanwhile, over there for that 2 spot, the only way YD would be able to make it is, obviously, as Calvin detailed, if YD wins out, Harwich loses out, which is unlikely as well. A lot has to happen for that to work out as Harwich and Brewster play for the 2nd consecutive night. A lot of home and homes over the course of the final few games. Braves, starting last night, finished their final 4 games of the season. Guess I should say 5 games if you count last night, with all divisional opponents. Wareham, Cotuit tomorrow, at Hyannis Tuesday before going to Falmouth on Wednesday.
Yeah, and that should be, that will be an interesting game. And then all of a sudden, the next time we're at Doran Park is going to be Friday. It's going to be our first playoff matchup. It'll be either Cotuit or Falmouth, it seems, which would make this the last matchup against the Wareham Gatemen, who in every game that we have had against this team, it's been a fun contest, and that is for sure. It's all been close, and even last night was no exception, 5-4. But as Darren said, our general manager, he thinks we're going to see a few thousand people come out here at Doran, which would easily break the attendance record.
Yeah, well, a big crowd for our last regular season home game. It is Host Family Appreciation Night. They had a nice tribute from the players and from the host family, each of them giving each other gifts. Saw it down on the field during batting practice before the game. It was special what the players gave to the parents and to these families. Call them parents. They're almost like parents for a few months. As
I know you talked with your brother about that, even just the dynamic of it, and the nature of Cape League starts with host families and having people volunteer, and it starts from the ground up. People want baseball. They're going to need to have host families for these players.
Yeah, and I know my brother mentioned it, but they live for the summer. And obviously that's what a lot of these families out here live for, and they're so happy to take these players in. New players come, old players, as in the ones that leave a little early, go. Even ones from seasons past in which they've hosted. 3-2 count here. Very interesting scenario for the Braves. Even though there's one down, a speedy Tanner Schobel aboard. And although the lefty's on the mound, I could see a situation and very likely could see Tanner Schobel on the move here. But the players hand-wrote notes along framed pictures of themselves in game action this year and wrote a thank you note and anything they loved about their time with the host families. And the host families gave them a gift that has not yet been revealed, along with flowers. To cool scene before the game, they all lined up along the third base line, got a big group picture from our photographer Pedro Blanco. Full count. Schobel not going, and Huber skies it away, still full.
And as much as the Katuitt Cavaliers are peaking, the Braves the last 10 have only been 5-5. So just different trends from two completely separate teams, and just the way that their stories were unveiled this entire season. A Katuitt Cavaliers matchup would be quite a sight in the first round of the West Division. Huber at first now, and before we get there, we have to get past these Gatemen to get win number 24. This inning just feels like the opportunity in the middle portion of this game to set the tone with Wareham in their first, or I should say the second game in this two-game series, home and home.
We got Colby Thomas's family in town. Had a nice conversation with his mom last night at Wareham in the Shark Cage. So good to see them here as Colby digs in. First pitch, a changeup called strike in or half. Colby didn't agree with the call. Looked like it was biting back. Colby didn't think it came back in enough. Nothing at one. Braves with runners on first and second. Their first opportunity with the runner in scoring position today. Outside of the first inning, it took a while for the Braves bats to wake up last night. And as you mentioned, a very Bourne Braves-esque game. Mm-hmm. They love coming back late. You would like for them to be able to get runners on earlier and capitalize on those opportunities, especially come postseason time, against, quite possibly a Katuitt offense that we could face that is easily the hottest in the CCBL at the moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, most certainly, and it looks like they're going to get away with the victory. And Colby Thomas now due up. He sits at 204 an average, 4 home runs, 13 RBIs. A guy who has blossomed in the middle of this season and really has been trending upwards towards the playoffs, but he's going to be a crucial factor in our playoff push. Same with the guy behind him in the order, Nick Goodwin. All these guys who have been here since day one have proven to be the most effective and the most producing players in the lineup.
Colby whiffs through a good-looking changeup there from Kirschipper right there. 1-2 to the count. Outfield playing Colby fairly straight up, but shading him to the left side of the infield is Tommy Troy, the second baseman. 1-2, and Thomas skies it away. It drifts foul out of play. Well, looking at the weather for the rest of the week, obviously still a long ways out, just Sunday. As we look ahead to Friday's weather, as of now and at the moment, calling for a 50% chance of thunderstorms, which we hope move out of the area. And well, just having my family up here this past week and checking the weather a week before they came, it looked rainy, and then, 3 days passed, and the entire week was sunny. So you never know what can happen.
That's Boston, Reeves. That's Massachusetts for you. You never know.
Well, it worked out on the nice end for us. Hopefully it can for the Braves as the breaking ball gets under the legs of Jimmy Crooks. It bounces all the way to the Braves bat boy net. Over near the Braves dugout, it's a wild pitch that gets under the legs of Crooks on the breaking ball that bounced in the dirt. To third goes Schobel, to second goes Huber with 2 strikes. Colby's got a chance to tie or take the lead for the Braves.
Good heads-up play by Tanner Schobel. He was even thinking about potentially rounding third, heading for home. Crooks just couldn't get a handle on it. And here comes the infield. They all are creeping in by the dirt and grass line.
So infield does draw in here, 2-2 the count. As Colby does a good job to chop the fastball. It does have some tailing action on it. Almost like a two-seamer, but we were talking to Nick Magus, the play-by-play broadcaster, along with Jack Sadigan for the Wareham Gatemen, who's very analytically driven. If you didn't know, if you ever get a chance to talk to Nick in depth about Wareham and baseball, super into analytics. Really cool to talk with him. 2-2. As that one misses high.
Well, Colby Thomas has been able to make contact with Kirschipper's pitch. It's just a matter of straightening it out. And the swing of a bat here and a base knock from Colby Thomas could give the Braves the lead here in the bottom of the fourth.
As Colby calls time, we'll step out of the batter's box. Big payoff pitch upcoming. As the infield draws in, 3-2 count. Braves trailing 1-0 bottom of the fourth inning here from Doran. Kirschipper to the plate. And Colby with a check swing. They appeal down to second. And a good call. Colby did not go around. The field umpire agrees. And the Braves have them loaded for Nick Goodwin.
How about that? And the newly added Max Anderson in for the injured Joshua Moylan on deck as well. We hope to see him pending, and I have to knock on wood now, pending a double play, but it looks like there's going to be a mound meeting from Wareham.
Well, we're going to see a visit here from the Gatemen coaching staff. There is a right-hander that is warming in the Gatemen bullpen. We'll see if they make the change from Kirschipper, who's only allowed one hit. That was to Schobel to begin the inning. Got a strikeout looking of Rushing, but since then has issued 2 free passes in deep, long counts to Huber and to Colby Thomas. We'll see if it's an extended visit to buy some time and then a change, or if I just want to talk things over with Kirschipper, who's been extremely effective other than this inning. As Coach Kevin Graber, Coach KG they call him, has a word with Nick Goodwin about how they want to approach this AB. So home plate umpire goes out. And they're going to leave Kirschipper in the game. Obviously, back to a 3-man umpiring crew tonight, Daniel. It was a scary situation in last night's game. Home plate umpire was hitting a foul ball with the mask and immediately fell back a few steps and fell to the ground. He had to leave the game due to concussion protocol, and hopefully he's all right and he's back in action tonight. Got the 3-man umpiring crew here again tonight as Nick Goodwin steps to the plate, bases loaded. As he is hacking away, tried to ambush a fastball, but foul tips it into the glove of Crooks.
He was on top of that pitch. We've seen a lot of those situations, Reeves, where foul balls will end up in the mask of the catcher or the umpires. Hopefully everyone's okay, and hopefully the umpire from last night is okay.
Inside fastball, but a called strike. That pitch was biting back. Goodwin and the crowd didn't like the call, but it appeared to be a good pitch. Goodwin, who does stand close to the plate, will have to battle a 0-2 count. So the Braves have to capitalize. As Goodwin sends a soft looper to short, that ball's going to be caught on a dive there by Tommy Troy. Some confusion between Jarvis and Troy and who wanted it, but Tommy Troy came across, made a nice catch. And the Braves will have to do it here with 2 down, with now Max Anderson making his first plate appearance of the night.
A funky play there with a blooper just over the mound. 2 outs with Max Anderson on now. Cannot leave this inning with 3 runners stranded on the base path.
Anderson, who will now hit 7th for the Braves. Usually see him at the 2-hole. Weird to see him so low in the order now, obviously, that Josh Moylan had to unfortunately exit. Anderson, a night ago, did pick up a base hit. He was 1 for 4 in that game for the Braves. Had a single in the latter half of the game. 1-0. Watches it miss away. 2-0. Well, the Braves would love to have and would enjoy another bases-loaded free pass. A hit by pitch last night. Would love a walk to tie the game in the early going here tonight.
Yeah, most certainly. And for Harvey Shapiro, not necessarily just a fill-in, but now this can be an experiment to say, does Max Anderson work in the middle or towards the end of the lineup? And you know, Harvey Shapiro is one to always be updating and changing the lineup and the batting order, and maybe Max Anderson is going to be tested out at this spot at some other time.
3-1 now the count. Anderson was hoping for a 4-pitch walk to bring in Tanner Schobel. We'll see what they come with here. 3-1, Anderson takes a fastball, fouls it back to the net from Kirschipper, and now the merry-go-round will start. All runners will get a head start. You put one in the gap here, you could see the bases be cleared in a heartbeat with the speedy Colby Thomas aboard over at first.
Kirschipper hanging on for dear life. 3-2 with 2 outs.
3-2. Anderson fouls it back to the screen. Well, interesting. Hunter Jump has grabbed a bat in the on-deck circle. Could see a scenario in which Anderson goes over to third base. Dalton Rushing comes in from right field to first, and Hunter Jump goes to right field with Agnos being removed from the game. Something to keep an eye on. But first, a all-important at-bat here. The runners will be off on the move again as Kirschipper deals on the 3-2, and Anderson once again, almost an exact same pitch and the exact same result. As Huber and Colby Thomas over there like, I'm getting out of breath right now.
Yeah, well, the battle and the fight of Anderson is something else right now. This is a moment in the game that could really set the result in stone. 3-2 with 2 outs, bases loaded.
Here comes Kirschipper. Anderson, ground ball to short. There is Jim Jarvis. Has to go the long way to first, but makes the throw in time. And the Braves leave them loaded with 1 out there. Runners on base, struggles continue as we head to the 5th with the Braves trailing 1-0. Reeves Jackson and Daniel Coates back with you. Top of the 5th as I turn things over to Daniel Coates for the play-by-play.
And first pitch swinging over to Knapczyk. He can't handle it in the glove. It bounces off the top. And we're going to send it to our Calvin Cristoforo. Not just yet, but he's going to have an update about an injury for Josh Moylan, who we hope is okay. We know that it's a lower lower body injury. But Tommy Troy coming up after Jarvis grounded out and grounded over to Christian Knapczyk in what looked to be a routine ground ball, but he made it to first. Hard hit past the glove of the diving. Looks like Nick Goodwin coming around. The Wareham Gatemen now have men on second and third just like that. Ken Turner still on the mound. And Christian Knapczyk's miscue is proving costly here in the top of the 5th. And we're going to send it to Calvin Cristoforo now with an injury update. Calvin, what can you tell us?
Well, Daniel, we got another injury down in the field. Zach Agnos is out of this game. I wouldn't call it an injury. He's just dealing with a couple of things. Had some stomach issues, was thinking about coming out of the game. He wanted to stay in, but then got a bloody nose. And so he was taken out of this game. He will not return tonight because Hunter Jump is now into left field.
Well, another run has scored. Men on first and third, and a base knock there for Owen Diodati. That's his second of the day. The Gatemen lead 2-0. They have 11 hits in this game to our 1, and that is the reason they have a multi-run lead. John Garcia out to give signs, but just not what you need, especially after stranding a bases-loaded situation.
Yeah, well, that's how you get another run across the board that quick. 3 consecutive base knocks to begin this inning. Obviously, the single from Jarvis, the double from Troy, and then Diodati up the middle. Quick hits off Ken Turner, too, but great report from Calvin. Zach Agnos out of the game, dealing with some stomach issues. Also had a bloody nose, so Zach Agnos now out of the game. Well, 2 East Carolina Pirates. Don't want to see them go down. Obviously, yeah, Agnos seems a little more recoverable. We hope Moylan's isn't as serious as it appeared. Calvin with the great reporting. Thank you, Calvin.
Now 1-1. Jim Jarvis scoring on a base knock from Owen Diodati. That one was to the left of Tanner Schobel. 1-1, still no outs in the top of the 5th. That one's knocked to right. It's going to be a base hit. It will score another Gateman. Here comes the throw in right, all the way to third. What a throw! Oh, my goodness. Dalton Rushing, looking like a natural in the outfield. The gun from right catches the Gateman base runner all the way to Nick Goodwin, and the tag was successful. That's the hard way to get out number 1. But we will take it.
Wow. Who said that Dalton Rushing can't play right field? My goodness, looked like that arm behind the plate catching, showing off in right field. Usually can only throw it to second base. Now gets to air it out all the way from right to third. That was a Mookie Betts or Yasiel Puig type throw from the right field position. Unbelievable.
But an RBI nonetheless for Jack Brannigan. He makes it to second. He is the sole base runner now with the 6th spot, Jimmy Crooks. Ken Turner really getting hit up at the moment.
Yeah, 4 consecutive hits, 2 singles, 2 doubles.
0-1, now 0-2. In a game where even only with 1 hit, the Braves have had their chances, and it goes back to the same storyline we continue to harp on it. It's because it's true. It's men left on base in situations that would completely flip the game on its head. 0-2. Good stop by Garcia. Jimmy Crooks faces a 1-2. Jack Brannigan takes a lead at second. Swing and a miss. And down goes Jimmy Crooks. Cameron James faces 2 outs with men on second. With man on second, I should say. And for a game that the Gatemen now have 12 hits on the board compared to the Braves 1, feels like we are in a fortunate situation to just be down 3.
Absolutely, especially when you, like you just said, you look at 12 hits on the board. And if Ken Turner is able to get Cameron James right here, well, obviously ever so similar to last night, the Braves were down 4-1. A 3-run deficit tonight, 3-0. 3-run deficit. The only difference was Wareham was struggling to get base hits last night. They did it via the long ball early on, and, well, tonight, they can't stop getting on base. They're 2 hits shy of their hit total the only time they came to Bourne prior. They're 2 hits away from tying that just in the 5th inning. So something about Doran Park, but the Wareham Gatemen in just their second visit here, the third one was rained out earlier. They love hitting here. 14 hits and now 12 hits. When you got 26 combined hits and not even a full 18 innings, you're doing something right at the plate.
That's for sure. 1-1. Jones with Brannigan at second. Ken Turner trying to close out this half inning. A hesitant swing, but he for sure went. And 1-2, 1 pitch away after 2 runs have been scored here in the top of the 5th. It was all started by Jim Jarvis, who is 3 for 3 on the day.
Yeah, 2 bunt singles and then that slap into the outfield. So Jarvis has been a Braves killer all season and is again tonight.
1-2. Chopper foul. It will stay at 1-2 for Cameron James, who had a base knock in the second and grounded to Tanner Schobel back in the 4th. One and two, and a big moment here for Ken Turner. Giving Brannigan a look. Hard hit over to Schobel. I should say Knapczyk. That throw is to the right of Max Anderson. It gets behind him, and scoring will be Brannigan. A costly error is going to score another Wareham Gatemen. 4-0. Christian Knapczyk fields it at short, but the throw is well off, and Max Anderson was not able to snag it.
Yeah, it should be scored in E6. I assume it's on the throw. I thought Max Anderson had a decent chance to make that catch in the tag. It's going to be an E6 on the throw from Knapczyk, I think rightly so.
Not what we're used to seeing from Christian Knapczyk in the middle of this infield.
Yeah, I talked about it earlier. Obviously, not a knock against Knapp, but I love his glove at short. I just like Tanner's arm better. I think Tanner obviously has a little bit of a strong arm at short and can whip it across the diamond. I think it showed right there on that play.
1-0, 8-spot hitter Kellum Clark. Behind early on, 2-0 to Clark. The Gatemen have scored 3 in the top of the 5th here, and we still have to do some work to get out of it. Wareham now has 12 hits against us, and this one missing outside. Of course, probably motivated and has a fire under their butts because of the loss last night, where they had a lead in this type of fashion but weren't able to hold on to it. Could we see it a second time on our home turf?
Well, obviously it starts by capitalizing with runners in scoring position, and the Braves failed to do so in a prime opportunity last half inning.
3-0. Turns the 3-1, fouled right back towards us again. This net is huge because we've had a couple Reeves that have come right directly towards us.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, we would be killed.
No, 1,000, yeah.
Unless we brought our gloves.
Yeah, exactly.
Clark 0 for 1 on the day. 2 foul balls, 2 strikes, 3-2. He struck out in the second and walked in the 4th. 3 runs. Looks like the Gatemen have completely broken the ice offensively here, with 3 runs in the top of the 5th. A full count, payoff pitch for Turner. This will be his 40th pitch of the day. Another foul ball.
Yeah, good battle right here by Kellum Clark. 0 for 1, a strikeout and a walk today. Fouling off some Ken Turner fastballs back into this net. With the runner on the move over at first in Cameron James. 2 down. As Wareham, a bunch of hits in the inning, but getting their 4th run off a Knapczyk E6 on a throwing error.
Full count. That one slapped into center. It's going to get down before Colby Thomas. And that is the 13th hit for the Wareham Gatemen. Ken Turner unable to get out of this inning. Nothing going right for the Braves in this inning.
No, not at all. Looks like Josh Eknes is warming up in the Braves bullpen. For Ken Turner, obviously, just getting hit hard this inning. As Cade Kern steps in. Kern, who singled and struck out thus far today. That single resulted in Colby Thomas nailing out James at the plate. James might think twice if Kern hits another single into center right here.
Breaking ball for strike one. Cade Kern, as you mentioned, Reeves, 1 for 2 on the day. He singled in the second, struck out looking back in the fourth. No changes being made right now by either Harvey Shapiro or Eddie Marco. 0-1. Kern lays off. Of course, Eknes will provide a higher velocity fastball.
Absolutely.
We've seen Ken Turner and Eknes as a tandem
for
a lot of this season.
Yeah, Braves with Agnos out. Goodwin now a third. Hunter jump into the game. He's in the left field.
Now 2-1. Good job by Garcia. He continues to make big plays and big stops behind the plate. Men on first and second for Cade Kern. 2 outs with a 2-1 count for the Wareham Gatemen, who are barely holding on to playoff hopes. 2-1, ripped past the diving glove of Christian Knapczyk. Another Gateman will score. Here comes the throw from Colby Thomas. It's picked off by Tanner Schobel. Make that 4 runs scored in the top of the fifth for Wareham. They lead 5-0.
Yeah, inning has gotten out of hand for the Braves. Very similar to that third and fourth inning we had at Katuitt the other day. Just an air that unraveled everything, and the Braves already giving up a bunch of hits in that inning. Just a bit opposite of the last time we were at Katuitt. It was a bunch of hits. Actually, it was an error that was followed up by a bunch of hits. Tonight, it's a lot of hits that then followed by a 2-out error that continues the inning, and Wareham making him pay. And it appears that Harvey Shapiro is going to turn things over to Josh Eknes.
We should be seeing Eknes, and I believe he will, making his way to the fence. We'll tell you about Eknes and the new pitcher just after this break. A guy who we often see in tandem with Ken Turner, Josh Eknes, enters the game with men on first and second for the Gatemen. Tres Gonzalez at the plate. 2 outs in the top of the 5th, I should say. First pitch from Eknes misses high and away, but a tough situation for him to be thrown into. 4 runs have been scored in the top of the 5th by the Gatemen.
Yeah, fortunate for Ken Turner, who seems, at least in the last 2 outings, has not been able to get any help from his defense. Obviously, he has given up a few hard-hit balls himself in those outings that haven't helped the cause, but it's the wrong combinations for Ken Turner. Partially his fault and also partially not his fault, but Eknes comes in. Obviously, you're going to get a guy that jumps in velocity from 91, 92 to 97, 98, so Wareham hitters ready to make that adjustment. This is Tres Gonzalez's first step out of the inning, but Wareham 1 batter away from batting around in the order to Jim Jarvis, who started this inning with a single.
We just had our first opportunity to see that heater from Josh Eknes, which is what he is so well known for. Mid-90s, maybe even scratching high 90s at times. That one fouled off by Tres Gonzalez, the one-spot hitter. 2-1. Did he go? They say he did not.
Yeah, this is Eknes' 8th appearance. 11 1/3 innings, 10 strikeouts, but the thing he struggled with is 11 walks. Command has not been there. That came with a season-high 5 walks, but no runs in his only start of the year versus Falmouth in a 4-2 loss. 1 hit allowed in that matchup.
3-1, and the first batter he sees, he walks. Tres Gonzalez makes it a bases-loaded situation. The guy who started off the top of the 5th, back in the batter's box, Jim Jarvis. He scored and had a base knock. Not the inning the Braves needed here. Not just in this game, of course, but as far as moving forward towards the playoffs, this type of situation doesn't help any forms of momentum.
No, not at all, and obviously not a good sign from your pitching staff when you hadn't allowed a team to hit around on you all season long.
That one gets behind Garcia. They're going to score again. How about that? Kellum Clark comes in and scores the 5th run of this half inning. Wow, shell-shocked. Not just the players, but also the fans here. It has been one heck of an inning for Wareham.
Wow. Yeah, not the Braves' afternoon.
6-0. And it doesn't look like Wareham is done. Still men on 2nd and 3rd. Jim Jarvis, just the 2nd batter faced by Eknes. He's had trouble with his accuracy. He hits there, though, 1-1. And that's really the story around Eknes. He has all the intangibles. He has that high-velocity fastball. He has the frame. He just needs to focus on the accuracy and focus on how he can switch up different spots. And that one's taken to left field. Over towards Jump's way. That's going to get over his head. Did it bounce over? It did. I believe that's going to be a ground rule double. However, it's going to score a couple of Gatemen.
Wow. This inning is just really falling apart for the Braves. A 7-run 5th for Wareham. Now 8-0. Nothing can go right for the Braves.
Now batting, the second baseman.
Well, how about this 8-0? A game that seems so completely opposite from yesterday. 8-0, and how about that?
Yeah, pretty good for Jim Jarvis when you're 2 for 2 in the inning with a double and a single. He's halfway through the cycle in an inning.
Well, he sits atop of 2nd. He cleared the base path. 1-0. Eknes has thrown 9 pitches, I should say, and only 2 of them strikes. 1-0. That one gets high and past the glove of Garcia. Moving over to 3rd is Jim Jarvis. And, I mean, this team is completely falling apart this half inning.
Yeah, Josh Eknes just no command right now out on the mound. Struggling to throw strikes. The 2nd wild pitch of the inning and just his 10th pitch.
2-0 with Jarvis at 3rd. It could be the 2nd time he scores this half inning. I mean, talk about a carousel for this lineup. 2-0. Now 3-0.
Well, here's an interesting development. Move away from this game for a minute. Top of the 9th inning over in Catuit. 12-9. Falmouth making a comeback.
High-scoring one at that.
Yeah.
Talk about an offensive game.
Yeah, trying to pull up that game. Will let you know what happens with it.
There you go, 3-1. Eknes back on track. (3-1), 2 outs. They got him looking. He thought about it. Tommy Troy. Jim Jarvis now at third. 3-2, an opportunity to get out of this disaster half inning. Fouled off. Eight to nothing. Top of the 5th, a full count for Eknison. A game where the Gatemen have scored 8 on 15 hits. Fouled off again, stays at 3-2.
Well, just went final in Catuit. Catuit wins 12-9. They save face on the potential Falmouth comeback, and now the Kettleers in prime position with back-to-back wins over Falmouth, just their magic number cut down to 3.
3-2 taken high and deep to left field. That looks gone. And it is. A 2-run shot from Tommy Troy, scoring Jim Jarvis from third. Just when you thought it couldn't get any uglier, it does.
Yeah. This is going to go down as the worst inning the Braves have had defensively all season. A 9-run 5th. Obviously, the Braves gave up a 7-run 4th versus the Kettleers, and we were thinking there's no way it'll happen like that again this year, but just a few days later here from Tuesday to Sunday, 2 runs more than what was scored over at Lowell Park here at Doran. 10-0 on 16 base knocks for the Gatemen.
A deflated Doran Park. Josh Eknes taking over for Ken Turner, but really, when you look back at the story of this half inning, it starts with the opportunity given by a Christian Knapczyk error and the snag by Max Anderson on what looked to be a base hit from Owen Diodati. That's going to end the inning. 9 runs scored in the top of the 5th. The Braves trail by 10 at home in what was a disaster half inning. But they have an opportunity to right the ship with the bats just after this. Welcome back to the bottom of the 5th. Hunter jumped from the University of Kentucky to start things off in the batter's box in what was a top of the 5th, resulting in 9 runs for the Wareham Gatemen as that first pitch is foul. I mean, and we were talking off the air, it all starts with the errors that have given the Gatemen opportunities, and it starts with Christian Knapczyk's throw. If he makes that throw, we're getting out of that inning on a 3-0 score.
Yeah, you get out of that inning right there, and you're you're down by 3, which is the same deficit you faced a night ago. Well, you saw last night, they scored 4 unanswered, won that game 5-4. All of a sudden, 7 more runs tack on. It's 10-0, and now this game is quite likely out of reach.
1-1 taken high. The second baseman, Troy, tracking it, gives it up to the right fielder. Kern makes the catch for out number 1.
So unfortunate, and this is a Braves defense that has been one of the best in the Cape all season long. But over the course of the past week, they have been haunted by errors. Obviously, they were clean defensively last night, but a team that really has to figure it out defensively and also figure it out with hitting with runners in scoring position. And they may very well face a Katua team that is on another planet at the plate right now.
10-0 with a new pitcher in Noble.
Yeah, Jack Noble from Long Beach State has yet to face the Braves this season, a 6 ERA in 9 innings of work, 15 strikeouts and 9 walks. His last outing was on the 28th of July versus Brewster. Well, Daniel, July no longer, August 1st today, in a fast summer that has gone by too quickly.
Down goes Garcia. And the Braves have not answered with the bats just yet. Christian Knapczyk in the top of the order with 2 outs against Noble, who looks effective on the mound. Knapczyk coming into the game, batting .329. He's 0 for 2 on the day. And back in the top spot, Joe Lampy with the day off. Low and outside, 1-0. Tanner Schobel on deck, and what seems like a deflated atmosphere at Doran. Most of the fans still here, but not a lot of noise at the ballpark. 1-0. 2-0.
Yeah, good loyal fan base sticking around. All the Braves down 10-0 with their league best record. Doesn't matter that you're losing here in this game. Obviously sticking around for all the success they've showed this year, and they're excited here the last home game and excited for the postseason on Friday.
2-0 sprayed to short. Fielded cleanly, the gun in time. That's going to do it for the bottom of the 5th. We're going to go to the top of the 6th where the Bourne Braves trail by 10 to their West Division counterpart, the Wareham Gatemen. Welcome back to Doran Park, where the Braves trail by 10. My name's Daniel Coates. Alongside me is our beat writer, Nick Galley. And this audience And this team just seems shell-shocked at the moment by the performance of the Wareham Gatemen.
Well, yeah, 9-run inning usually has that effect a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a crazy stat I got for you, Daniel.
Hit me.
So obviously last night, 5-4 game in Wareham. And if you remember, Bourne beat Wareham 6-5 back, when was that, June, early July when Wareham was out here?
Yeah, let's go with that.
Yeah. So early in the season. So 9 combined runs through 4 prior meetings, obviously the 2 shutouts.
Napcheck, the throw, the scoop. They got him.
Alrighty. So obviously 9 combined runs in 4 matchups for Wareham, and they just did that in the last inning.
Unbelievable.
So they literally doubled their run total against Bourne in 1 inning on the season. So
it was all started by Jim Jarvis. Jimmy Crooks now to the plate. And you look at the stat sheet, you look at the board, crooked numbers everywhere. Jarvis scored twice in that half inning where Ken Turner and Josh Eknes were on the mound. 1-1.
yeah, it's just been a dud of a game.
And Nick, we look forward to Friday night, but there's also some questions going into the playoffs. This is the one time where we've been on a 5-5 slide. For us, that is a slide, especially with the way that we started. But it seems like there's some issues creeping up, especially with the departure of some guys, the arrival of some new guys. But with a Cotuit team that looks poised to take second place after defeating the Falmouth Commodores tonight, they're trending up. We seem to be at a stalemate as far as offensive production and even minimizing the errors.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to dance around it. Cotuit's peaking at the right time right now, and Bourne is going into a slide, it seems like. And, yeah, Bourne's put up some good games, but for the most part, the baseball we've been seeing has been really, really hard to watch, especially defensively.
Colby Thomas in center with out number 2. Jimmy Crooks now 0 for 4 on the night. And the thing that I've really noticed, Nick, and maybe you can add to this, just has been how many opportunities the Braves have given up or maybe even given the other team with infield errors.
I mean, yeah, you're giving teams extra outs. I mean, that's what it comes down to. I know tonight, it was kind of bad last inning, and we saw what it led to. But the game that it really stands out to me was that Cotuit game. I forget what inning it was. It was that 7-run inning. I think it was a 7-run inning. You basically gave the Kettleers 6 outs to work with. I mean, there was 2 errors in that inning and a drop third strike.
Ooh, and that one catches the back of James. He was hit hard. That was a mid-90, maybe even high-90 fastball from Eknes. He's going to take over first with 2 outs in the top of the 6th. And, that's where it all really started. That Cotuit inning, half inning, posed the possibility of these type of innings really happening at a decent rate, and we're seeing it tonight.
I mean, yeah, it's brutal. I mean, I think the Braves took for granted they were making, some extravagant plays at the beginning of the year. Obviously, I remember opening night, Colby Thomas made that great play, throw to the plate, double play. But the routine plays, you got to make those too, and we've seen a lot of routine plays over this past week not get made, and it's cost the Braves a ton. I think it's put them into a little bit of a mental funk too.
2-0, and Eknes continues to struggle with his command. And Eknes and Turner are guys who have come in situations like this and have struggled a bit. Josh Eknes has thrown 27 pitches. Of those, 19 have been balls. That's a swing and a miss. That's a strike right there. However, moving into the playoffs, you got to figure out your 1-2 punches as far as starter and reliever. And we were talking about this on air with Reeves, and you got to think Austin Parsley. You think Jake Bennett, who I thought had a good outing today. Of course, just a couple of some funky hits and some funky plays in the infield that allowed him to be hit up a little. Eknes now at a 2-2 count. But I thought Jake Bennett had a decent outing today.
He looked all right, but Yeah, regardless.
Not his best.
Yeah, not his best. 8 hits are 8 hits. So, I mean, that's the way I look at it. Yeah, a lot of them were kind of cheap hits. Look at it how you want, but, strike out, 2 or 3 Ks, I think, today. So, strikeout stuff wasn't completely there, but you just got to limit the damage. I think he did a good job of limiting the damage, but still, you never want to give up 8 hits for 3 innings.
Most certainly. And as we move closer to the playoffs, we're moving to the bottom of the 6th. Josh Eknes strikes out Clark. And the Braves looking for some sort of miracle to climb back from a 10-run deficit. Tanner Schobel at the 2 spot. Faces a 1-0 count. The Braves looking for any sort of run production here in the bottom of the 6th. They trail by 10. High fly ball. It might stay in the infield or trickle just out. Underneath it, the second baseman, Troy, out number 1. Tanner on the day, now 1 for 3, with Dalton Rushing due up. We saw quite a throw from Dalton Rushing. Looks comfortable out there in right field, from right to Nick Goodwin at third, gunning out a Gatemen base runner. 1 out for Rushing, the Louisville Cardinal. The Bourne Braves faithful has stayed in their seats, hoping for some sort of miracle here tonight, 0-1.
Yeah, just 1 hit for the Braves tonight. That came on that Tanner Schobel single to right in the 4th. Braves then got 2 walks after a Rushing strikeout, and you thought, okay, down by a run, time to take the lead. Who knows? Braves put up some runs there. It can change the complexity of the game entirely. But obviously failed to capitalize.
Now behind early on, and Rushing in 0-2. Take it into center field. Will it get down? No, right into the glove of Gonzalez. Nothing going the Bourne Braves' way. That was a hard hit line drive right into the glove. Gonzalez didn't even have to move. With Ben Huber now to the plate, and as you move forward in this game, Reeves, 10-0 might be out of reach, most likely is out of reach. What are you looking for? What should Harvey Shapiro be looking for as positives moving into the next handful of innings?
I want to look for fight from this lineup. I think the pitching staff, you know what you're going to get. Obviously, you don't want to see 3 games in the past week where you've given up at least 10 runs. 10 versus Orleans, 14 versus Catuit, and now 10 here tonight versus Wareham. That doesn't bode well, but I think we talked about it off air. You have to feel confident about your main guys going into the postseason. Austin Parsley, Tristan Vreeland, Cole Chidoba, Michael Sansone, Jake Bennett, and Ben Etheridge. You got Eric Adler at the back end. You know that Bryson Cafaro has been really solid as well. Even Tyler Stewart, if he can just throw strikes, he's got great stuff. So I think the most important thing, one hit from this lineup that has really seemed dead in the water all night. Let's get some life. I know you're down 10-0, but show some life, get some hits together, string some runs, maybe finish this game with 3 or 4 runs on the board over the final few innings, and you can take that going into tomorrow against a hot Cotuit team. I know Calvin's going to tell us more about that here after this half inning, but Braves have to be ready to go against the Cavaliers tomorrow.
And as you said off air, it's a statement game. It's almost like the playoffs are coming to us a few days early.
Yeah, I told you. I think
it's like a preseason.
Yeah,
match.
no, really, it really is. And I think it's a statement game and a momentum game, because if the Braves come in here to Bourne Park tomorrow night, come to Bourne, their home park against the Cavaliers, and they get a big win, well, they're going to tell Cotuit, hey, when you guys come here Friday, be ready, because we're ready for you guys. And if Cotuit comes in on Friday and beats us on tomorrow and beats us on Friday, they're going to be ready to say, all right, boys, we're coming to your place and we're ready to beat you.
Well, Ben Huber strikes out for the first time today. And one of the big things that we're going to mention throughout the next few games is momentum moving forward and going towards the playoffs. How important is momentum moving forward and getting these games underneath our belt? And Calvin, I'm going to send it down to you. How important is that, and how important should we gauge it? Daniel Brown Jr. to the plate. Check swing. Did he go? They say he did. First pitch strike from Josh Eknes. A 10-0 game, West Division matchup. And Reeves, I'm going to send it over to you for the next 2 innings of play-by-play.
Thank you so much, Daniel. So John Brown Jr. on to pinch hit here for Cade Kern as we head to the 7th inning. But the Braves trailing 10-0, just not their night. In all facets of the game as Eknes misses high off the glove of Garcia. 2-1 the count here to Brown Jr.
A very quiet night here at Bourne.
It sure is. Very quiet night. Not really much of anything to root for outside of a Colby Thomas throw to the plate that gunned down Cameron James earlier in the contest. 2-2 the count here to the 9-hole hitter now, Brown Jr., the pinch hitter. Eknes deals 2-2, breaking ball in the dirt, count runs full. The Braves with just 3 games remaining. All teams with 3 games remaining the rest of the season. Heading into the off day as Eknes gets Brown Jr. to swing and miss. Tough to come in cold off the bench against 98. And Brown Jr. goes down for the first out. But obviously, the Braves go
now batting, the center fielder from Georgia Tech,
to Falmouth the last game of the season. Before the off day Thursday, they play Cotuit home tomorrow and at Hyannis on Tuesday. So games that'll be very interesting to follow to see if the Braves can really catch their stride. Obviously, Calvin, you had a great report just about the importance of momentum and what that means for a team going into the postseason. You'd rather be right now on Katuit's side of 5 wins in a row after tonight rather than the Bourne Braves, who are losing 4 to their last 6 dead in the face.
Yeah, and in a way, it's humbling. It might be a good lesson to learn before going into the playoffs. You know, we're not necessarily the clear top dog anymore in the Cape League. You look at Harwich, you look at Brewster, now maybe even Katuit coming up. And baseball, such a long season, of course, not the MLB status, but the Cape League's 40 games long this season, which is shortened. However, it's a tale of 2 different seasons and multiple different stories along that season. And I think it's important for the Braves to realize, okay, we need to dig deep. It's not going to be an easy ride through the playoffs, and maybe this is a good lesson to learn.
Well, you never want to hope that a team peaked too early in their season. I don't think it's fair to say that about the Bourne Braves, simply because you got to look at the guys they lost. You have to look at all the players along the way. That's part of Summer League Baseball. Caden Wallace, Broylan Wimmer. You look at some of the pitchers they've lost to the draft, Graceffo, Zawak. It's part of the reason these guys are in the big leagues, as Tres Gonzalez draws a 1-out walk there from Eknes. Obviously, part of the reason they set a decade-long record that hadn't been broken for the best start in CCBL history was because of guys like Colton Bender and Gordon Graceffo and Nick Zawak and Peter Van Loon.
And even going back further, Kyler Fedko.
Yes, absolutely. Reggie Crawford. You're so right about that. But the Braves, even though they've lost all those guys, have had other guys step up, and they've played excellent. You even have some extremely new faces in here with Hunter Jump, with Ben Huber, John Garcia, Bryson Cafaro, Kelsey Ward, Tyler Stewart.
And not just
Lucas Costello.
Not just the realistic, or not just the actual arrival of different players, but the rise of some players as well. You look at Colby Thomas, even Josh Moylan, maybe Tanner Schobel in a way.
As this one is lined hard into right. Dalton Rushing back there and makes the catch for out number 2. Well, Rushing, who had a bit of a tough read on that blooper that scored the first run of the game. Other than that, Daniel, I've been very impressed with Rushing's play in right field today.
Yeah, most certainly. And he's not a guy that we've been so accustomed to seeing in the outfield just because we have so many talented outfielders. However, now, as you mentioned, it's a good thing for this lineup to have him in a different position. We saw him at the catcher position. We saw him at first. And now we see him in right field after playing left field yesterday at Spillane.
1-0 the count to Tommy Troy, who blasted a 2-run homer in his last plate appearance that went over the Braves' pen, as Garcia with a check down there on Tres Gonzalez. Safe to call.
Talk about the release out of the hand from John Garcia.
Yeah, talk about
so
the impressive catch and throw skills of the Grambling State catcher. One, and riding up in on the chin there of Troy is Eknes. 2-1 the count. So Eknes at times is spot on with his fastball control, and other times has no idea where it is going.
Yeah, he's really struggled with his accuracy. The velocity's there. That pitch is there. It just needs to find a little bit more accuracy, and there it is.
Outer half, perfect pitch as Troy takes it 2-2. And at times this year, you can say that Eknes has been effectively wild. Almost when hitters don't know what's coming. They don't know whether it's going to be riding up and in on their shoulder blades or whether the fastball is going to be painted perfectly on the outer half at 98. So I think that's what in part makes Eknes so effective, at least this season. When you look at his game where he had 5 walks, but he didn't allow a run. So in that game, effectively wild. Yeah. Especially in only 4 frames is with the 3-2 count, and Jarvis on the move. Excuse me, Tres Gonzalez over there at first. Tommy Troy chops one foul. Almost fully under the night skies here at Doran Park. The final bit of sunlight gleaming off in the distance with the cloud cover over some very faded blue skies. 3-2. This one is lifted high and deep to left field, but it appears that Troy just missed this one. Back his jump, he's under it, and he makes the catch for out number 3. Nice job there by Eknes. A quick inning for him as we head to the stretch here at Bourne. Colby Thomas leads things off here for the Braves in the home 7th. 10-0 your score. The Braves sending their 5, 6, and 7 hitters to the plate. Thomas, Goodwin, and Max Anderson. Good pitch and a called strike there from Jack Noble.
Relatively quiet day. And also considering this is the 3rd time Colby Thomas has seen the plate.
Yeah, just 0 for 1 with a walk, 2-1 the count.
Two and one for Thomas, who has walked and has also struck out on the day with that bright red bat.
2-1, that one misses downstairs. 3-1 the count here to Colby, who has a signature bat, as you mentioned, indeed. Well, the Braves, who unfortunately lost Josh Moylan, don't know for how long, with that likely hamstring injury, as Colby rips this one into left field. That's going to get down, and that's going to roll all the way to the wall. Colby Thomas will pull into second with a leadoff double, and good start for the Braves in their half of the 7th inning.
Another example of just how well Colby Thomas contacts the ball. That line drive just has a different trajectory than a lot of other guys hitting on this team. And, you know, even our Kevin Graber, who throws BP, says that Colby has one of the hardest hit balls that he sees coming out of the cage.
Yeah, you can see why when you asked him earlier this year, who would you take in a home run derby? I know you've said it a few times on the broadcast before, but he goes, oh, I'd take Colby. I'd take Colby in a heartbeat because the ball just jumps off his bat.
Well, let's take a look, not just in the West Division, but also the East. An interesting score update. The Brewster Whitecaps are down 4-11 to the Harwich Mariners. The Hyannis Harbor Hawks trail the YD Red Sox 9-2, and the Chatham Anglers are on top of the Orleans Firebirds 3-0, that game having no implications. However, Brewster and Harwich is certainly a matchup that is going to be anticipated as the most likely matchup in the East. And even looking further past the West Division, of course, it is too early to do so. However, Harwich and Brewster are both teams that have had our numbers, in a potential championship preview we had on Wednesday night, and it didn't go our way.
Yeah, top of the 8th inning over there, and obviously Harwich up 11-4 as you mentioned, and if Harwich is able to get the win, well, we talked about Brewster being 4-0 against the Mariners this year, and not only would Harwich get their first win against Brewster, regardless of YD winning 9-2, if Harwich wins, they have officially clinched a postseason berth. Knocking out YD, you'd have your 2 teams from the East Division. 2 on the count to Goodwin.
But boy, that is an impressive performance from the Harwich Mariners. 11-4 in a matchup that the Brewster Whitecaps have dominated, as you said earlier. What was it, 3-0 or 5-0 record?
Are you talking? I'm sorry. Oh, yeah, 4-0 record. Yes, coming into play today. Yeah.
So good stuff from Harwich.
3-1 count. So Noble has struggled to find the strike zone here. Goodwin 0 for 2 on the day. Right side of the field wide open if Goodwin wants to choke up and poke one into right field. And that one's going to hit Goodwin on the knee. Tosses the bat away in frustration. Well, the last thing you want if you're the Braves before the postseason is injuries to pile up. We saw Goodwin foul one off of his foot. He dealt with some cramping and missed a few games. That was just about a week ago. We'll see him in the lineup on Friday night for the first time, where he picked up 2 singles. Goodwin jogs down to first, able to rub it off, and the Braves have 2 runners aboard. Nobody down for Anderson.
Poor Nick Goodwin. He's dealt with a lot at the plate. He had one at Orleans that fouled off of his foot. That one catching him on the inside. I think it might have caught his left elbow.
Anderson, first pitch fastball, and skies it back over our heads here in the broadcast deck. 0-1 the count. Oh, 1 breaking ball in the dirt. Good stop there from the catcher, Jimmy Crooks. 1-1 the count. Well, you take a look over the course of the season at Doran Park, and there's several significant moments that stand out to you here. Obviously, in our last game of the regular season at Doran, so many fond memories have been made. Obviously, you look back to our first game here as Goodwin lines this one hard foul down the left field line, but well foul out of play. You look back to just our first game against the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, which seems like just last week, obviously close to 2 months ago now, in which we did not know the destination of this journey that has been extraordinary. It was a scoreless game into the 8th. Dalton Rushing, who has been one of the key cogs to the Braves' success this season, a home run to right center. Braves led 1-0. And then later in that inning, just a few batters later, Braylon Wimmer, a 2-run homer. It sealed the deal in a Braves 3-0 victory on opening day. They went on to start the season 6-0 before tying, but the longest undefeated streak in CCBL history in the last decade, with a lot of those wins coming on the road, in which felt like a month of a first week as Anderson launches that to deep left center, and that ball is going to sail. Max Anderson with a 3-run homer. And just as we talked about, Daniel, good to see the Braves offense have some life. They get 3 on the Anderson bomb.
Well, there you go. He hit it really hard. It drifted foul a few pitches earlier. Max Anderson, for a guy who has been on top of it, fouling off balls against these Wareham Gatemen pitchers, he finally gets one and it sends home 3.
So Braves trail by 7 now. Anderson with the long home run absolutely pieced up that fastball from Jack Noble. Drives in Thomas and Goodwin. And it'll bring up Hunter Jump, the Arizona State turned Kentucky outfielder, with a mound visit currently for Noble. Still a large lead for the Gatemen, but obviously good to see the Braves pick up 2 hits, a double from Colby, the homer from Anderson. And maybe you carry this offensive success into tomorrow's game versus the Kettleers.
Exactly. It's all about momentum. If this game is too far out of reach, create some leverage for tomorrow, and Colby Thomas and Max Anderson have just done so. A potential West Division first-round matchup in the playoffs we're going to get tomorrow. Not necessarily completely dead in the water just yet here at Doran Park, but looking forward to tomorrow's matchup against the team that we're most likely going to play in the playoffs.
Here is Hunter Jump. Base is clear now. And a called strike taken. 0-1 the count. That was a blast from Anderson, wasn't it? Unfortunately for him, he got robbed the other night the last time we played at home. On Friday, Vandy outfielder Spencer Jones made an incredible leaping catch in center, flipped over the fence, almost had his hands on the ground and his heels on the other side of the fence. Almost like a piece of paper that was just folded on that pole out there, but made an incredible catch. Anderson wasn't getting robbed this time. 1-2 the count here to Jump.
Boy, he hacks away at that ball.
Good pitch from Noble, and Jump is taking care of on strikes for the first out.
Only the first out from Noble.
Now batting, the catcher from Grambling State.
4 pitches.
John Garcia.
And John Garcia still looking to get his footing offensively here. He's so good defensively. Some words between the umpire and the Bourne Braves bench. Don't know what that's about, Reeves.
Yeah, quite possibly about some of the strikes in that at-bat. On the call from Hunter Jump, Garcia able to hold up a swing, but just revisiting some of the key moments and some of the awesome fun times we've enjoyed at Doran Park. Obviously, we'll be here in the postseason, but just kind of wrapping up this regular season we had at home. We had the Caden Wallace walk-off on the single to right center field as Garcia sends this one to center. That is going to be a sliding catch made by Tres Gonzalez in center. Outstanding defensive outfielder from Georgia Tech robs Garcia of a single, and there's 2 away.
Man, that would have been an awesome second hit of his Cape career for Garcia. It was so well hit, but Gonzalez making one impressive play, and again, just one of the more sound defensive center fielders we have seen.
As the leadoff hitter, Knapcheck, back in the top of the lineup of the day off for Joe Lampy. Squares around, shows bunt, gets it down. Noble fields it on the backhand and throws over to first. And that retires Christian Knapcheck. The Braves get 3 on a Max Anderson 3-run shot. We head to the 8th. It's a 7-run ball game, 10-3 Wareham. Top of the 8th inning here for the Braves in the field against Owen Diodati, who leads off in the top of the 8th inning. Well, I think, Nick, we love.
Oh, no introduction? Nothing?
No introduction. You're a normal. You're a regular on here now.
I don't know, man.
You're a regular on here, Nick. In all good fun, we love the Wareham public address announcer.
Yes,
we really do. He's
actually one of the best PA announcers in the league.
He's incredible. He's really good. He's been a testament to the CCBL and how long he's been here. And he's got a flair about him. I mean, if you're going to be a public address announcer, you have to stand out.
You need your thing.
And be unique. You need your thing. You either have an incredible, resounding, deep voice that stands you apart, which there are a few in Major League Baseball, having been to a few parks. And then there's guys like Wareham's public address announcer, which you don't have a name on, but Nick Galley does one of the best impersonations of the Wareham PA announcer that I've ever heard. He's really
so good. And all the players talk about it, too.
They do.
Because it's...
Well, Nick,
it's noticeable, you know?
We're going to need you to turn into the Wareham public address broadcaster and announce Owen Diodati.
Really?
We need it.
All
this
right.
is
playing in left.
It is 10-3. It is the top of the 8th inning. We're here to entertain.
He's seriously he's seriously great.
This is
awesome. This is because he's
making fun. This is an impersonation because
we're going to try and do it. We're going to try and do it.
He is.
We're going to try and do it. You ready?
Let's hear it.
We'll do it after this pitch. Hold on.
2-2
mess
here
up the game.
From Bryson Cafaro. This one is, from Doling, lifted into left field. Over goes Hunter Jump and makes the nice catch for out number 1.
All right, here we go. Now batting, the left fielder, Owen Diodati from Alabama.
That is fantastic.
I mean, that's great.
That is fantastic.
It's good.
That is so good.
I need to meet him.
Yes,
we next. Oh, we just realized we never go back.
Oh, man, that's tough.
We need to. You're Jack on the broadcast team at Wareham. Yes. Go to Georgia with him.
I do.
You need to get me in touch with the Wareham PA announcer.
I will. Maybe you guys can collaborate on some.
I'm serious.
Like a mixtape for
I want like a PA off.
Yeah.
Like a. Who can do it better?
Well, there's only one original.
It's him, obviously. It's obviously him.
I want to know from Frank Doling, who's into the game from Ryder. Is that one fouled away there by Jack Brannigan?
But no, he could definitely be a PA announcer at, no doubt, a minor league team. He could probably do the bigs. I think he could.
Yeah, he's so unique. I think that's what makes him stand out.
He's just he's a PA announcer. He has the PA announcer's voice. He's got the thing going.
He does.
I would not be a good PA announcer unless I was copying what he had exactly.
We'll show you a good PA announcer, Aaron Will Henschel.
Yeah, he's great, too.
He kills it.
Maybe I could be a PA announcer and I just do what the Wareham guy's doing.
Now batting.
It's good. I mean, it's good.
I love it. I love it. Can't do it even close to you.
It's crisp. It's crisp.
It is crisp. Nice pitch there from Frank Doling. Well, I was explaining to Daniel earlier on the call.
Were you explaining to Daniel? Very nice. Reeves Jackson here along with Daniel Coates. Bringing you the bottom of the... No, it's top of the 8th.
You see, you always try to impersonate me.
Hold on. I'm gonna get you now. Frank Doling from the windup. He delivers. It's a pop fly here over foul territory. Max Anderson makes the catch, and there's 2 down. Nick, I was on the call earlier with Daniel. Oh, yes, sir.
Goodness, my sweet northern friend.
No, don't go there.
Oh, man. Well, I called Max Anderson Nick Goodwin, so
you're mess tonight.
Last half inning.
You're mess.
Nick Goodwin, we were talking about him on second, and we were discussing what I was talking about with Daniel before you so rudely interrupted.
Of course, yes.
We were talking about some of the best moments. We were trying to wrap up this regular season, our last regular season home game at Doran Park. We were talking about all the great moments from the first game at Hyannis with the 8th inning outburst of 2 home runs from Rushing and Wimmer. Obviously, some of the wins at home that started the best undefeated streak in CCBL history in the last decade. And then, obviously, looking back at the trio of walk-offs, from Caden Wallace' walk-off single to Colby Thomas's walk-off blast to left to Peter Burns' walk-off single to center field, to some close games Eric Adler versus Hyannis closing out a bases loaded jam. Tristan Vreeling against this Wareham team, a bases loaded jam. So many good moments and so many fun and exciting times from this entire regular season at Doran Park, just simply at home. Take me through your favorite moment and what that was here this year.
Well, I would say I was down on the field. It's not even game related. I was down on the field. I turned up towards the press box, and you two knuckleheads were locked out on this freaking porch. You two knuckleheads.
Oh, my God.
Like Dumb and Dumber out here, looking at the door, the glass door, just standing there.
Oh.
And I remember the first week when we were getting everything set up, I was just meeting you guys, we all got locked out here.
We did.
Yeah.
So you
and Ellie Coker, our social media expertise.
No intern. Expert.
Yeah, I messed up. I was going good, and I messed up. Our social media expert, she had to unlock us. Would have had to sleep out here.
Jimmy Crooks will send a single into center, a 2-out base knock. Yeah, so you were initially part of the problem, is what you're telling me.
I guess, if you really want to go there.
Now batting, the third baseman from Mississippi State University, number 13.
How much do you think people would pay to see us fight? I think a lot. I think if me and you, I think if me and you boxed, it'd be awesome.
Well, should we do it like on the camera one day?
Before the game, yeah, on the mound. First person to punch the other person off the mound.
How about our form of a boxing match? We both take. So for the fans at home, some cool traditions in Bourne. Tonight we're getting fed pizza by, obviously, Megan's great family and all the host families here, and the interns get to enjoy that. And then tomorrow night, intern batting practice after the final home game against Gatuit. I say our boxing match, Nick.
That.
We both throw to each other.
Okay.
Whoever can hit it further.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
No, you pitch to me. I will literally take you 460.
All right.
Dead center.
I'm ready.
I don't know if you want to pitch to me, Reeves.
I want to pitch to you, Nick. But you can't be like, it has to be just BP.
Well, yeah, I'm not going
to.
I'm not going to huck Ched.
Yeah, I don't think you could hit my Ched.
Yeah? You don't think so?
No.
Yeah, I think I could. I think I could hit
my
your
72-mile-an-hour fastball.
72? Is it 72?
I don't know. Probably.
What was it last time you clocked in?
74 at club baseball.
Oh wow!
Terrible. I don't throw fast, Nick.
Clearly.
I locate.
Yeah, I don't. The only place your ball is getting located is over the center field fence.
Sometimes
that's
where
your pitch is getting located.
As this one has popped up in the infield. Who wants it? Doling points. It's going to be Max Anderson. Ball drifts back into fair territory. He makes the catch. 4 out, number 3. Well, the Braves bats got 3 the last time they were up at the plate. They'll have 2 more chances. We head to the home 8. That's 10-3.
Okay, fans.
New pitcher on here for the Wareham Gatemen, Kevin Asay, who we've seen a handful of times from the University of Pennsylvania.
From Virginia Tech, number 27, Tanner Schobel.
Schobel digs in and takes a first pitch strike from Asay, 0-1.
Yeah, 6 more outs to work with. Let's see what we can get done.
17 hits for Wareham as Schobel fouls that off his foot, but he's good at the plate, 0-2. Well, found it hard to believe that the Gatemen would out-hit their hit total of 14 the last time they were here at Doran Park early on in the season, but they've done so, and in a big manner as well. Scored 5 runs on 14 hits in their 6-5 loss in late June. And then here tonight, 10 runs, 17 hits, a 9-run fifth.
Kevin Asay.
The Braves tacked on 3 on a Max Anderson 3-run homer. 0-2. Breaking ball. Oh, wow. Called strike 3. Appeared to be a bit outside, but nonetheless rung up for the first out.
Wow. That was a bit of a stretch, I would say.
Yeah. Regardless, one down here for Dalton Rushing.
However, I will say that he's been consistent.
Oh, he's been very good tonight
with the zone. You know, whether it's a little further inside and a little further outside, but Dalton Rushing has an opportunity to get something going with 5 outs remaining in this game for the Braves to play with.
First pitch strike there from Asay, the right-hander. Asay is a 6'2", 200-pounder, a senior from Monroeville, New Jersey. 0-2 the count. I'll say thanks to our Will Henschel for the name of the Wareham public address announcer we were talking about as Dalton Rushing gets hit by the pitch. And he will be down to first. Dan Diaz, who is the excellent Wareham public address announcer, had our Nick Galley do a impersonation of Dan for his Owen Diodati introduction. Always great to hear that as Van Huber comes to the plate.
You never know what you're going to get with Nick Galley behind the microphone.
Nah, you don't. You don't. I figured, you know what, we're down by 7 runs. Nick does a great impression. It's out of all respect and love for Dan Diaz, who we love to impersonate because of how unique he is. And, well, I figured Nick let the take over, and it was a good impersonation. Did Owen Diodati. As that one misses down and away, 1-0 the count. Here to Ben Huber. Big, tall, right-handed hitting first baseman in the DH spot tonight. Huber, if you weren't with us last night, it made his first appearance, 6'3", 245 pounds, a biology major from Pendleton High School. He's a lefty in the field, was also a left-handed pitcher at times with Limestone. As you look at some of his pitching statistics in 2020, when he appeared in 2 innings, not the most successful, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, a 22.50 ERA. As he takes that for a strike, the UConn transfer in 3 seasons at Limestone, get these numbers, a 280 average in his freshman year. In the COVID-shortened 2020 season, a 420 clip, a home run, 5 homers, 25 RBIs. That was over 23 games. Imagine what he could have done with that season as the breaking ball finds its way in there 3-2.
Yeah, I've been impressed by him. He's a good late season addition, and he was effective last night. And Wareham, of course, tonight's a completely different story, a completely different game story. However, Huber getting that first impression, getting his foot in the door, as you might say, was huge for him moving forward. And not the night as you saw him just there strike out, but looking to add on to that in our matchup against Katuitt tomorrow.
Here's Colby Thomas. The 5-hole hitter for the Braves is 1 for 2 tonight, a strikeout, a walk, and a double. Later scored on the Anderson 3-run homer. Well, the Braves will have one more opportunity to score. That'll be in the home 9th. And just wearing out that breaking ball away is Asay. Going back to the numbers of Huber just for a moment, just admiring what he did in 2021 at Limestone. As it appears maybe the webbing of the catcher's mitt broke for Jimmy Crooks. We've seen that once this year.
We saw that. I'm trying to remember where we saw that.
Same here. don't know where it was.
I want to say Harwich.
Okay.
I remember that one of our catchers, maybe it was the warm-up, but his glove was completely broken. The webbing snapped, and the ball, I think, cemented or even got trapped between the.
Wasn't it Tatum Levens at Harwich on the road?
It might have been.
Okay.
Yes,
I think you're right.
it was.
I know it was at Harwich.
I believe
you're
it
right
was
about
at White House.
0-1. The Thomas fouls away. 0-2 the count. Back to Huber, a .439 average. We've already talked about that. In just 132 at-bats, he had 58 base knocks, a .742 slugging percentage, a .519 on-base percentage. Well, you add those two numbers up, and you get a 1.261 OPS. Just impressive numbers. Thomas grounds out into a 4.64 the putout. As we head to the ninth inning, it is 10-3 Wareham all over the Bourne Braves tonight here from Dorn Park.
Great.
Top of the ninth inning back here from Dorn Park as the Braves went down without scoring a run in the last half. It is the 8, 9, and 1 hitters here against Frank Doling. Daniel Coates will take you through the ninth inning in a 7-run game.
Thank you, Reeves. Callum Clark takes a first pitch strike. The name of the game and the story of this evening has been 17 hits for the Wareham Gatemen to the Bourne Braves 3. Their opportunities continued in another game with an error and action in the error column. 0-2 here quickly for Doling to Clark. What has been a lackluster performance in a time that we need momentum, especially moving towards tomorrow's game against Cotuit, which could be a preview of the first round matchup. That pitch just missing outside. It was close. And Garcia thought it was a strike as well, but it will move to 1-2. One-two. That breaking ball is going to get him. Beautiful, beautiful breaking ball for strike 3. Clark goes down looking. This is John Brown Jr. for the second time. Back in the 7th, he struck out swinging. 1 out. Top of the 9th, the Braves will have one last opportunity in the batter's box. Breaking ball drifts just a bit too high. And a problem that has plagued this team for the entirety of the season, we pinpointed it in Game 1, was leaving players in scoring position on the base path. And we had, if you can remember, and I believe it was the 3rd or the 4th inning, a bases loaded situation.
Yeah.
that would have completely turned this game around and would have thrown it on its head. Don't know what that would have done, but I can assure you it would have stopped the Wareham Gatemen momentum in some form.
No, absolutely. I don't think you would have had a 9-run inning follow the Braves maybe tying or taking the lead. It changes the complexity of the game, but obviously, even in that first game of the season, first hiatus, the Braves scored 3 runs, but do you remember how many runners were all over the bases? So experience that very early on. It's been an up and down season as far as offensively when it comes to scoring runners. All season, the Braves have been able to get on base, whether it's base hits or walks. That's why they lead the league in team average. But from a standpoint of getting those runners home, sometimes they do it in a flurry, and sometimes they strand runners all over the place, just as they did Friday versus Brewster, second and third, nobody out, and they didn't get a run across.
Mm-hmm. Those are the moments that need to be capitalized on as we move towards the postseason. Full count to the 9-spot hitter, Doling. That's fouled. It will stay at 3-2. Doling's thrown 29 pitches. What have you seen from him? What have you liked from him so far?
I've liked a lot from Doling. He's throwing, like he's mentioned, he's throwing strikes. He's getting ahead. Obviously, when he first came in, got the strikeout and then issued a walk, got the fly out to right, fly out to left field, and then
another foul ball. Good job to stay alive by the UMass Dartmouth John Brown Jr.
Well, excuse me for Doling. Sorry, I was the inning behind him. Was looking at Eknus. Didn't change the scorebook from where they batted around. It was a fly out to center, pop out to first, a single, and a pop out to first again. And then Doling here with already 1 down as Kellum Clark was retired. But I've liked what I've seen from Frank.
Full count, taken into foul territory, unable to be fielded just over the fence towards the right side where Dalton Rushing has done an adequate job out there today. A couple of funky bloopers that have gone his way, but how about the throw all the way from right field to Nick Goodwin to get a base runner out for the Wareham Gatemen? I mean, he was showing his natural ability out there and just what he has in him as a defender.
Yeah, absolutely. Impressive throw from Rushing. It was, of all the throws I've seen from Colby Thomas, that throw might be up there in the top 2 or 3 of the season.
3-2, Knapczyk's way, fielded the throw. They got him at first. Ground ball to Knapczyk, who, as you mentioned, Reese, has had trouble a bit with the throw from shortstop. He makes the transition between short and second base where Tanner Schobel is tonight. That one was online. However, you can see just the transition that Knapczyk is going through. It's not just a flick anymore from second. It's more of a 2-step play for a routine ground ball at short. Trace Gonzalez, who's been busy in center tonight, now at the plate for his 6th at-bat of this game.
My goodness.
I mean, talk about a night for him. He singled back in the first, flew out twice in the third and the fourth. He walked and scored in the 5th, and he singled back in the 7th. This one taken to center. Colby Thomas right underneath it for out number 3. Do the Braves have a miracle in them? They're down by 7, and they'll have one last opportunity to take to the batter's box. The Gatemen on the road lead 10-3 at Dorn Park.
Wareham, from Long Beach State, number 35, Devereaux Harrison.
Devereaux Harrison, who was the designated hitter last night for the Wareham Gatemen, now on the mound and looking to close out a 10-3 victory for the Gatemen on the road. A funky call here, Reeves, and tell me a little bit more about what you know about Harrison.
Well, Harrison, obviously a pitcher, obviously by trade, and with some shortcomings last night, got a chance to hit in the lineup just like we saw Anthony DeFabia do, but he was no DeFabia at the plate. Went 0 for 4, struck out to end the game, but pretty interesting to see Harrison hitting last night, and on the mound tonight here, Lucas Costello pinch hitting for Nick Goodwin.
He has a 7-run cushion at the moment, an 0-1 to Lucas Costello, who's pinch hitting for Nick Goodwin. Drifting high now, 1-1. Now 2-1. Costello, 1 for 14 on the season. The Demon Deacon, who was seen most at the top spot in the lineup for the Wake Forest. 3-1. A 5-pitch walk. Lucas Costello makes his way down first. And the Braves have some life. Max Anderson comes to the plate after that shot that he had scored 3.
And that was a bomb, wasn't it? Deep into left center.
The Long Beach State pitcher. A lot of Long Beach State products down here on the Cape.
Yeah, second one we've seen tonight. Noble and now Harrison.
Most of which, as you mentioned, are swingers themselves. 0-1. Inside to Anderson. Anderson with a 3-run shot towards the bullpen of the Braves. Back in the 7th. He grounded out twice before that, 1 for 3 on the night. 1-1, taken to left again. Right into the glove of Diodati for out number 1. Another hard hit ball by Anderson, 4th time, and each time he's made it to the plate, he's made contact. All of them hardly hit, but that one was right into the glove of Diodati and left. Hunter Jump with his 3rd at-bat. Used to be a teammate of Joe Lampy at Arizona State, now moving east to Kentucky for his college ball, along with John Thrasher, who used to be a Bourne Brave early on this season. He'll be teammates with Thrasher there. 1-0. Hard hit ball to right. Does it have the legs? And Kern, the one who has the legs, that is out number 2. A good catch on the run by the right fielder.
That was an impressive catch. For a minute, I thought that ball had a chance to get out. Didn't know that it was as far left as it was. It was more to that 360 sign and not as far pulled to that 300 sign. Thought it was still going to get down with a nice running catch by Cade Kern. Now the Braves down to their last hope tonight here in John Garcia.
John Garcia with a liner to center where Trace Gonzalez made an impressive catch in the outfield. Hit it hard but was robbed of one, it seemed. Breaking ball drops off the table into the zone. Napcheck on deck. This is Garcia's 4th at-bat. He struck out twice and then lined out to Trace Gonzalez back in the 7th. Lucas Costello on first. The 1-1. Big swing and a miss. 1-2. Garcia looked like he was all over it. He had the home run swing ready. 1 strike away for Harrison. 2-2, missing outside, and Harrison, other than the walk to Costello, is making quick work, it seems, of this bottom half of the order.
Yeah, 2 hardly hit baseballs by Anderson and Jump, but as you mentioned, now a chance here to take care of John Garcia.
2-2, swing and a miss. Harrison ends it. And the Wareham Gatemen leave Bourne with a 10-3 victory and a lackluster performance by the Braves in the top spot. And we are going to be facing the Cotuit Kettleers, who are coming off a 12-9 victory against the Falmouth Commodores, further improving their chances to be in that 2 spot when the playoffs come around the corner. Tomorrow night should be a good one. We expected it, always is with Cotuit. And what a big game we have on our hands tomorrow. Could be a first-round matchup preview.
Yeah, it easily could be. Cotuit, if they win tomorrow, or if the Falmouth loss, would be just 1 game out from clinching that postseason spot. Their magic number would go from 3 to 1. It's now at 3. It was at 7 earlier today. Obviously, the head-to-head matchup and beating the Commodores, staving off a late inning comeback from Falmouth. But tomorrow's game means a lot. It might not mean much for the Braves in terms of them already locking up the 1 seed, but it means a lot for bragging rights, number 1, for the regular season head-to-head record against Cotuit. But most importantly, it means a lot for momentum against Cotuit going into the postseason, when Cotuit, as of now, and very likely could be your first-round matchup. Said it earlier on the broadcast, but if they come in here and they beat the Braves, well, that sends a statement and a message to Bourne saying that they're ready to come in here and take the first round and head to the championship. But if Bourne can get the win, then they can send a statement back to Cotuit saying, oh, don't you think you're coming in here so fast thinking you're going to get us here at Dorn Park, because we have other things for you.
Yeah, it's going to be a confidence matchup tomorrow here at Dorn Park against the Cotuit Kettleers, who have further improved their status for the 2 spot, the top in the West. The Bourne Braves drop a 10-3 score, and what was just a lackluster performance, a big 9-run half inning, one that was spurred by an error or 2, and the hits just kept coming for the Wareham Gatemen. But we're back in action tomorrow night. We dropped to 23-8-3, and the Bourne Braves can't get it done tonight, but look to do so tomorrow against the Cotuit Kettleers. For Reeves Jackson, the entire production crew, my name is Daniel Coates. Thank you all for tuning in. Good night, and go Braves. We'll see you tomorrow.